The autumn wind is a pirate.
Listen up now. Touchdown, Raiders!
Blustering in from sea, with a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously.
And now we got the Raider walk.
His face is weather-beaten.
With the spike in the end zone.
He wears a hooded sash,
That's 2 wide bingo C-smash.
with a silver hat about his head,
You guys like it?
and a bristling black mustache.
Incredible!
He growls as he storms the
Right
country,
up the gut.
a villain big and bold.
He's styling and high-stepping.
And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold.
Into the black hole.
The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
The autumn wind certainly was a Raider in the 2000 NFL season, guiding Oakland to within 1 game of the Super Bowl. It all started as a gentle summer breeze back in the hot, sweaty days of August in Napa Valley, when head coach John Gruden picked the Raiders through the beginning stages of what would become the Raiders' first playoff season since 1993.
Let's get over here and get your motor running.
I'm Greg Papa, and this is a look back at the Raiders 2000, the return to excellence.
Hey, we friends now, but when that bell rings, we ain't friends no more.
The Ticket 1050, the proud home of your Oakland Raiders. This is the return to excellence.
What time is it? Turn it on.
He's gonna go. The block. The Raiders blocked it. Rising. Touchdown. Got it. Touchdown. Timmy Brown. He's styling and high-stepping. 10-5. Touchdown. Raiders. And now this joint is off the hook.
Rise, my nation. Gather around and prepare. For tonight, our pride will be restored. Our shadow will fall with wicked damnation. Rise, my nation. Rise! Can you dig it?
No score can settle our history with these enemies from the south.
Oh,
Chucky.
they may have taken our so-called fearless leader, but the deceptions do not stop there, my flock. Oh no, Chucky! They have taken from us that which is rightfully ours, that which defines us all. Listen, we have taken something from them of far greater significance.
We have taken their vicious Sunday silencer.
I am the Night Rider, your fuel-injected vengeance machine. I am the rocker. I am the roller. I am the out-of-controller. Come with me, my brothers, to the field of war. 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves.
Oh, believe my flock. This is your nation. This is our nation. This is the Raider Nation. Rise! Rise!
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm not doing any game from here.
What's up, Raider Nation? We're about to get started in 3 minutes here, so stick around. I know you don't see any video, but it will be online, and we're going to get started in about 3 minutes. Please say hi in the chat room. Let's get this chat room pumping for tonight's awesome episode, and I think we're all going to have a good time. Say hello and enter the raffle, and we'll get started in exactly 3 minutes.
Let's go white shift, the wheat cleft tie spider 2, the sea banana XO.
The autumn wind is a pirate.
Listen up now. Touchdown Raiders!
Blustering in from sea, with a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously.
And now we got the Raider one.
His face is weather beaten.
With the spike in the end zone.
He wears a hooded sack,
That's 2 white bingo C-smash.
with a silver hat about his head,
You guys liked it?
and a bristling black mustache.
Incredible!
He growls as he storms the
Right
country,
up the gut.
a villain big and bold.
He's styling and high-stepping.
And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold.
Into the black hole.
The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
The autumn wind certainly was a Raider in the 2000 NFL season, guiding Oakland to within 1 game of the Super Bowl. It all started as a gentle summer breeze back in the hot, sweaty days of August in Napa Valley, when head coach John Gruden picked the Raiders through the beginning stages of what would become the Raiders' first playoff season since 1993.
Let's get over here and get your motor running.
I'm Greg Papa, and this is a look back at the Raiders 2000, the return to excellence.
Hey, we friends now, but when that bell rings, we ain't friends no more.
The Ticket 1050, the proud home of your Oakland Raiders. This is the return to excellence.
What time is it? Dirty boys,
He's going to go. The block. The Raiders blocked it. Rising. Touchdown. Touchdown. Timmy Brown. He's styling and high-stepping. 10-5. Touchdown. Raiders. And now this joint is off the hook.
That's right, the return to excellence starts in 1 minute. Let's frickin' go, Raider Nation. Get in the chat room and let's get it going.
Rise, my nation. Gather around and prepare. For tonight, our pride will be restored. Our shadow will fall with wicked damnation. Rise, my nation. Rise! Can you dig it? No score can settle our history with these enemies from the south. Oh.
Chucky.
They may have taken our so-called fearless leader, but the deceptions do not stop there, my flock. Oh no. Chucky! They have taken from us that which is rightfully ours, that which defines us all. Listen, we have taken something from them of far greater significance. We have taken their vicious Sunday silencer.
I am the Night Rider, your fuel-injected vengeance machine. I am the rocker. I am the roller. I am the out-of-controller. Come with me, my brothers, to the field of war. 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves.
Oh, believe my flock. This is your nation. This is our nation. This is the Raider Nation. Rise! Rise!
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm not doing any game from here.
People
Are you ready? We're going to get the show started. Let's start the show. Don't worry about the present day. Because you know what? He can't stop us now. He can't stop us now. Let's go, Raider Nation. Here we go. Calling out to Raider Nation crew. We're going to make it all happen right here, right now. We're calling out to Raider Nation crew. We're going to make it all happen right here, right now. We're calling out to Raider Nation crew. We're going to make it all happen right here, right now. We're calling out to Raider Nation crew. We're going to make it all happen right here, right now. What's up, Raider Nation? We got a really good, interesting show for you guys tonight. We got some Davante Adams versus Antonio Pierce drama. Mikey versus Antonio Pierce drama. Do we have a cheap-ass general manager and owner? We're going to talk best free agents. Max Crosby was kicked out of practice. And we're going to talk the new no-bullshit Raider culture. Plus, we're going to have a Cowboys versus Raiders preseason preview. Are you excited? I am. We're going to have a good show. Let's get that chat room popping. We got Pirate in there. Panic's in there. Let's go. Come on. Calling out to Raider Nation group. We're going to make it all happen right here, right now. Calling out to Raider Nation crew. We're gonna make it all happen right here, right now. We're calling out to Raider Nation crew. We're gonna make it all happen. Do the robot. We're calling out to Raider Nation crew. We're gonna make it all happen right here, right now. Yeah, Raider Nation, what's up? It's your boy Mikey Raider. It's Friday night. I went live 2 hours than I wanted to, but hey, I'm still online. I should be drinking wine, and I'm feeling real fine. Well, actually, no, I got a little bit of a panic attack today. But hey, it don't matter. The technology seems to be working. I got it running for a Friday evening on August 16th. Football season is around the corner. Fantasy football season is freaking here. So let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. And like with every show on this old-ass computer, I have to bring in the topics from a folder. I wish they were presented before, all in the program, where I could just click a button and it would go to the next topic. But apparently that takes up the RAM and the memory and the processing power, and nothing works. So I have to do it kind of backwards. Oh, I'm going to bring the picture in. But hey, we're still going to have a good show. We're going to have a good show. Lots been going on. Panic's online. He's saying, you're welcome. Pirate 1975, the moderator's in there saying hello. We got a lot to talk about on today's show, and I like to talk. So for those of you that stick with me and watch me talk for a couple hours and a half or 3 hours, I love you. Appreciate you. Mikey Ray's a little bit weird. I shaved again because I got eczema. That's right, I got eczema. It's not eggs. It's eczema. It's something was happening to my scalp. It was like a dandruff and like a little bit of a blister. So I got medication on it and I'm doing all right. But that being said, let's get the show started, y'all. Ain't no need for me to beat around the bush anymore. This is Raider Football Talk, where hopefully each and every Friday during the season, we talk Raider football, drama, topics, subjects, what's going on that week, what's going on in Mikey Raider's head, his conspiratorial mind. And I do notice that sometimes my headlines are a little bit negative. They're a little bit clickbaity. But honestly, that's the only way I make a few dollars on YouTube. And I kind of look at the world in a critical fashion. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't watch the Raiders anymore with 100% energy and passion. Well, I have 100% energy. But I just mean, like, I always have one eye open with everything that's going on with the Raiders. One eye open. Like, what the hell did he just say? Oh, that's going to be a problem 3 months from now. You know, like, that's how I look at the Raiders. And it's not the right way to look at it. Every season, people like Murph, Raiders Fan Radio, and some other people, positive. Hey, everything's great, everything's good, everything's golden. And I'm like, shit. I want everything to be golden. Yeah! Then all of a sudden, Antonio Pierce or somebody does something, and I'm like, ah, shit. Here we go again. That is the trauma that I have. And I'm sure many of you have it as well. So for the people that get mad at my negativity or my controversial takes, I'm sorry. It's who I am. I've been surrounded by losing culture. This is Raider Football Talk. I'm Mikey Raider, the Raiders OG Guru. You can find me on X. Information is down below. Hit up the Raider Ranch hotline. Ain't nobody calling that shit. Leaving messages. Come on, after the game, get that number in your phone book. Start calling and leaving messages. I need some messages. We got one dude that calls all the time, old school Raider. Ain't nobody else. Leave your rants after the game, your thoughts on any subject in today's show or any subject in a press conference. Come on, call the Rants hotline. And you can text the hotline as well. It is a phone. It's like a Google voice phone, and it is kind of connected to me. So if you want to talk to me or text, there you go. But let's get it Raider-oriented, and we'll leave it at that. On today's episode, we're going to talk Davante Adams versus Antonio Pierce. Me versus Antonio Pierce. Kind of. No. Cheap-ass GM or owner. Best free agents available. Was Max Crosby? Why was he kicked out of practice? And Cowboys preview. And we're going to talk a little bit of the new, no-nonsense bullshit culture that is making its way into our team. Jeffrey said, salute Mikey. Panic said, we're with you. It's like what the Raiders are ahead going into the second half. Thrash is online. What's up, Thrash? All right, everybody. Let me get this off screen. Like I said, we're going to have to do this during the show. We're going to have a new Raider video for you guys in a little bit. They just released a Raider publicity ad that was kind of interesting the other day. Antonio Pierce was in the car. I want to air it. It looked really cool. It's like a publicity ad, a propaganda ad for the Raiders. But I don't mind it. It looked pretty cool. And it was talking about the new Raider swag. All right, let me get the subjects. Let's start with possibly the latest news. Let me get the folder on screen so I can pull out the latest news. Like I said, I have to bring it into the application. I can't have it pre-made because stuff like that is going on. All right, let's quickly talk about the actual Raider news from their website. The most recent news or headlines from their website, they talk about how to watch the Raiders versus the live stream versus the Cowboys. Get yourself a Fire Cube. You do some illegal activity, and then you could watch every game. Jim Otto passed away, and they're going to light the Al Davis Memorial Torch on Saturday. I didn't know it was a home game. I kind of thought it was in Dallas. Am I mistaken? So how is Jim Otto and the family going to light the Al Davis Memorial Torch on Saturday? I may be wrong. It may be a home game. Forgive me. I forgot to look. But I thought it was in Dallas, and I think they played the 49ers at home. But it's probably a home game. But if it's not, they're probably going to use a pre-scripted video of the Otto family. But why couldn't they have done that for the home opener? Like, come on, man. Seriously. I guess technically, if they're at home, this is the home opener. But, I mean, this should be the home opener of the season. Is it because it's in week 3? The home opener for the Raiders? And we might be 0-2 by then? I'm just kidding. Mikey Raider looks at things negatively. But again, I don't know. I thought with that big of a name, they should have done it at the home opener during the season. But apparently they're doing it on a preseason game. Okay. We'll leave it at that. The Junior Raiderettes, the Jabberwockies, Layla Hathaway, Highlight game entered. Okay, so it is at home. I should have just read the next statement. Mikey Raiders a retard. Oh, I can't say that anymore. Mikey Raiders special. Highlight game day entertainment in Las Vegas as the Raiders host the Cowboys. Raider Nation brings the noise at the first open public practice at Allegiant Stadium. That got the juices flowing. And we're going to talk about what happened. There was fights and there was some other stuff going on at that open public practice that everybody got to attend for free. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Coach Antonio Pierce, we're going to talk about the new swag. The team is hungry to prove themselves, and he's hungry to prove himself. He called it the team, but it's you, dude. You need to make a name for yourself. This is your opportunity. You only get one shot. You chance to blow. This opportunity takes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better let it get it go. You only get one shot, Antonio Pierce. And your preseason shot, we're going to talk about that on today's show as well. What you did in the preseason. Letters from camp. Dylan Lobb took time to embrace the moment in his first NFL action. He didn't play so good. He didn't do so great. But I still expect a lot of things from him. And that's the video I was talking about. It's a silver and black thing. It's a pretty cool little video. It's a silver and black thing. Man, if I could produce music, I would. I have done it before. I want to make a Raider rap song. I want to make a Raider anthem, and I wanted to do it for this year. I could probably still do it, but I'd have to really get to work. But, yeah. So we'll leave that at that. All right, I will be looking at your comments a little bit during the show, but sometimes I got to entertain. Your boys got to entertain. So Max Crosby came into the top 10 this year. And he was number 10. But he was drafted in 2019. Max Crosby in 2022 finally made the top 100, even though he should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year, but the 49er guy got it. But 2 years into he ended up on the top 10 at number 59. And he's been climbing the charts ever since. Hey, today's rockin' oldies. Today's rockin' oldies. You got Max Crosby coming in from 59 to 17 on the top 100 Billboard charts of the NFL. In 2023, he went from 59 to 17. And he was making his way up the ranks because now he's more popular. He's got a podcast and he's doing some things. And this year he broke into the top 10. Some think he might have been better on that roster. Some think he might have been worse. But I'm perfectly fine where he is. We got one of the top 10 NFL players on our team. And I'm sure Davante was on that list, but he's probably 35 or 40 this year. And I don't know. Davante might be like 20. Who knows? But still, it sometimes is a popularity contest. But Max Crosby deserves it. He is honestly deserving of the 10 spot. And hopefully next year, he's the number 1 or 2 or 3 player, like a TJ Watt. I'll take it. I'll take it. Congratulations, Max. We frickin' love you. Now, let's talk about Max Crosby possibly being kicked out of camp. We'll get that to that in a second. You know what? Nah, let's do that. Let's do that camp fight. Let's do the camp fight. Apparently, there was a camp fight during one of those practice sessions that we just spoke about at the home stadium. Paul Gutierrez wrote, "Wild Raiders camp moment. Robert Mickey Spillane, and undrafted free agent center Will Putnam." Undrafted free agent, just like Antonio Pierce. Center Will Putnam has been climbing up the ranks since Ben Brown sucks. The free agent acquisition at center. Will Putnam has been driving up the ranks. Robert Spillane and undrafted free agent Will Putnam got into it twice. Then Max Crosby entered the fray. Max Crosby's like, what? It's about to be a what? Raider fight. It's about to be a what? Raider fight. Max Crosby entered the fray throwing at least 3 punches at Putnam. Do they like Putnam? Will Putnam, undrafted free agent coming in with the power. Antonio Pierce has been talking him in camp this season. He's been moving up the ranks because Ben Brown sucked. And then the other players that could possibly play center are needed to possibly play guard or tackle. So Will Putnam, he's either got a mean streak or he's filling his own freaking ego since they bumped him up to second string basically at center. But it would take a lot for veterans like Robert Spillane and Max Crosby, who doesn't even treat Patrick Mahomes this way, by throwing at least 3 punches at Putnam before ripping Putnam's helmet off and throwing it downfield. Was that the defense trying to fight and set a tone? Was that the offense trying to fight and set a tone? Was that Will Putnam trying to fight and set a tone? Did Antonio Pierce, his guy, and Will Putnam, did he tell him to set a tone? You can look at it any way you want. But I like it when there's a what? There's about to be what? Ready to fight. And then here's the funniest thing, yo. We got to talk about this. I want to get your chat up. I want to see if anybody's talking. Here's the funniest thing. The motherfucking DJ. They had a DJ, you know, at Allegiant Stadium for the open camp. The motherfucking DJ was watching everything going on the field. And then he responded when they were fighting with the Rocky theme. Dun, 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 dun. I forgot how it goes. But that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I freaking love it. The DJ was in on it. Did he have the Rocky thing queued up? Or today's DJ just press a couple of buttons? Rocky. But he responded with the Rocky theme. That should have amped up even Max Crosby and everybody else more. Because there's about to be a what? Way to fight. But then the DJ calmed down or somebody called him up and said, hey, what are you doing? We don't want our players getting injured versus each other. We're family. And then the DJ said, oh, shit. Let me put on the song. We are family. And come up everybody and see. I love it. I love it. I want some more of it. That being said, man, it takes a lot to get Robert Spillane and Max Crosby to actually throw punches against their teammate. I don't know how amazing Will Putnam is, but this is a start to a good career, and he's trying to set a tone for the offense because the defense was winning in camp the first 2 or 3 weeks, and now the offense apparently had their best day during this open practice with the crowd. The offense, it livened up their spirits, their pride, their power, their strength, and this is what resulted. Because what was happening is the Raiders defense and Max Crosby and or Robert Spillane was getting beat. And the crowd was cheering them on. So they got pissed off. And then Will Putnam was probably doing some weird type, situations, holding or whatever, whatever he was doing to make the team. So they got a little bit antsy, Max Crosby and them. And apparently, it's not reported about. It is talked about in an Antonio press conference that he had to pull Max Crosby away and not let him go back into the practice or the game practice or whatever they did. So basically, Max Crosby was kicked off the field. And wow. Again, Max Crosby's doing his thing. Hopefully he does that against other teams, but we don't want him to do that against other teams because he'll get kicked out for next week's game. He'll get suspended. But this time he did it versus a Raider. And Max Crosby's going into the season with some anger. He wants to be number 1 on the top 100. Let's go. We'll leave it at that. Jeffrey said it's a home game. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I got my information confused. We have too many wide receivers to sort through. No reason to have Davante Adams. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm glad Will stood up to Crosby, said road code. Thank you very much. All right, that was the camp fight. Let me get that off screen now. Now let me get into some more, little bit of maybe some latest news that some of y'all haven't heard about. Let me open up the dang thing. Jackson Powers Johnson is officially back practicing with the team. He will not play in this week's game. He'll try to give it a go in next week's game. Colton Miller is still injured, but they are both back on the field, at least training in some sorts. But Levi Edwards went on road. Jackson Powers Johnson is getting in some work off to the side. This is his second training camp practice since returning from the injury. And if I expected anybody to get into a fight, it was Jackson Powers Johnson, not this Will Putnam guy. Will Putnam's putting it to him. Putnam to him. No pun intended. That's right. I should have put up this clip video before what we just talked about. She's got Max Crosby mad. Raiders Fan Radio, they got an artwork piece with that same exact picture from Max Crosby. Somebody painted an art piece and sent it to Murph and Raiders Fan Radio, and it's freaking gorgeous and beautiful. One of the best pieces, man, that I could ever dream of owning is that piece that person made of that photograph of Max Crosby. Just, it's the Raider look. It's the Raider look. That's what it is. Freaking love it. You gotta love it. So definitely it's been getting chippy out there, which is a good thing because Antonio Pierce is bringing the swag back. Now, remember in maybe last week's show or whatever it was, I was talking about Gruden being a bitch. I still think he is sometimes. You know, does things for money. He goes to the Chiefs camps and everything else for money and you know, whatever he does, you know, to try to make a living. And I question, why is he not coming to the Raiders? Why is he not coming to the Raiders, helping us out, doing a talk to the team or helping out Antonio Pierce or whatever? Is it because his character's too big? I don't know. But he's going to the Chiefs, hanging out with Andy Reid, the Saints and Derek Carr and all that other stuff. And I know people were like, hey, he's got his son as the strength and conditioning coach, Gunther, or whatever. He's still on the team. So he's not mad at the team. There's no rift between Mark Davis and John Gruden because his son's still a part of the team. Well, I believe that. I don't believe there's a rift because he was fired or he's holding anything against the Raiders. But seriously, Raiders had Richie Incognito and a bunch of other tough dudes in the Gruden era come down and talk to the team. Why hasn't John Gruden? It's a good question. It's because John Gruden wants money. And apparently, Mark Davis is probably not willing to pay what he wants to come back. Or he doesn't want to disturb Antonio Pierce with a character. But I believe in my heart of hearts, John Gruden wants to come, talk to the team on the sidelines, and it could still happen. I hope it does. But now we're barely finding out about Gardner Minshew working with John Gruden the last two or 3 years. Apparently, John Gruden has been helping out some Raiders because Minshew worked this offseason on his ball security as well as his release points and making plays off schedule and on his annual trip to Tampa Bay, Florida to work with former Raiders coach John Gruden. Come on, man. I'm in the 5 football coaches of America, baby. So Gardner Minshew is getting some advice from John Gruden as a young quarterback. I like it. I know I wish I saw it like public-wise at Raiders camp or during this preseason, the next couple weeks, maybe before the season starts. I'd love to see Gruden. Whether I like him or not, and I still think he's a bitch every once in a while, I don't have the best reputation with Gruden. Okay? I don't. That sabotage situation at the Super Bowl messes with me. But he started doing good on the team in his 3rd year. The NFL did him wrong, and I just asked the question why he hasn't come back with Mark Davis. Because he wants money. He's about money. He's got to pay his wife, and he's got he's got to buy her some good stuff. So Mark Davis is probably not paying. And we're going to talk about Mark Davis not paying in a minute. But hey, man, Minshew working with John Gruden, two outspoken characters. I love it. I love it. I love it. And if Minshew ends up becoming the starter, we're going to see a lot of influence from Gruden and the character to Gardner Minshew in Minshew Mania. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Let me just quickly remind everybody, we are giving away an Amari Cooper jersey. That's right, for every $5 in Super Chat or donations through PayPal or Venmo, links down below. Or if you become a member, for every $5 or any new membership, you get one entry into the Amari Cooper jersey raffle. It's a way to support me, and it's a way for me to give back to you guys. At the end of August, I'm going to do a live stream where I pick, a name out of a hat, or however I'm going to do it, of the people that donated $5 to get one entry for every $5 into the raffle for the end of August. So please consider supporting your boy to do all this other stuff. And quickly, I just wanted to mention that there are 2 spots left in my Raider Central Fantasy Football League. The fee is $25 to play for a value of $250 in Raiders merchandise, swag, jerseys, trading cards, autographs. You get a buttload of Raider merchandise of your choosing if you win or get second place, depending on the value. But if you'd like to join the league, there is a video maybe about a week ago called Do You Want to Play Fantasy Football versus Me? All the information to join the league, how to pay, and to become a part of the league is there. There's only 2 spots left. They will be gone by this coming Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So get on it, get on it, get on it. It's a fun league, man. We have a good time. And the $25, again, supports me in the channel. Plus, you could also win Raider swag, merchandise of your choosing. From my personal collection. That's right, Mikey Raider's selling or giving away his own shit. And a lot of it is new. It's never been worn, never been used. Some good shit. I got a lot. So you'd be getting something from Mikey Raider's personal collection. I think that's worth the $25 entry fee. Plus, you get to play versus me. We're going to do a live draft. It's going to be fun, man. All right, I'm going to leave it up to you guys to join that league. And then, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to do it, but I think Mondays with Mikey and Murph are coming back this Monday for another episode, the season open special. We did the training camp special a couple of weeks ago. We're going to do the season open special on August 19th, this Monday at 5 p.m. But there are some things up in the air for me personally, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to make it. So look back for another Mondays with Mikey and Murph this coming Monday, everybody. Last episode we did was pretty good. It was bare bones, just talking, but it was good. It was really, really good. All right, I wanted to give a shout out to the members. We got a few new members that I haven't taken the picture for, but I want to shout out in every show the members. So Scott Reynolds, Demi by Nature, Jake Berryman, Daniel Trujillo, Pistol 09, Nikhil, 818 Raider, Tony Raider, Robert Hernandez, Jaquinta Storm, Raiders Incorporated, Unholy Raider, Frankie, Francisco J, and there are a few more that I forgot to get to. My apologies. I will take that picture for next week's episode, and I will represent the people that are becoming members. And again, I have not had any Saturdays available to do a Raiders Roundtable, but we are going to have them this year, at least once a month. So every Saturday, we're going to have a Raiders Roundtable. If you're a member, you can be in the exclusive live video chat. We're going to have more fan interactions. We're going to have a fun hangout Raider talk. Not every Saturday, but at least one Saturday a month during the season. And if you'd like to be a part of that, become a member of the channel or hit me up in DMs for free. You can be a part of the Raiders Roundtable. Just let me know. Also, everybody, again, I need some pictures. Share your freaking Raider room. Okay? Hashtag at Mikey Raider or hashtag Raider room at Mikey Raider on X. Leave a voicemail as well. Or send me an email with a picture of your Raider room. I want to see it. I want to share some Raider rooms. I know there's some out there. I don't care if it's just a little bit of a wall with you taking a picture in front of it. Send it to me, email or however. I want to represent you guys, the fandom, the love, the respect. Come on, baby. Let's get it frickin' going. And to the friends and fans of mine that are actual friends and fans of mine, I'm going to be traveling to York, Pennsylvania in mid-September on September 14th. I will be doing an event, an autograph signing, and a hangout, and a classic video game tournament at the Timeline Arcade in York, Pennsylvania on September 14th. I think the tickets are like $25 or $20 to get in. Then autographs are probably like $20 more to get autographs from everybody. I don't really know how it works. But go to timelinearcade.com and you get to hang out with a lot of the Nickelodeon stars. Look at this lineup. We got the lady that does the voice of one of the Rugrats, the Pete and Pete. We got Phil Moore from the actual Nick Arcade, Josh Server from, what is it, All That. We got Lori Beth, my girl, had a little bit of controversy as well with Quiet on the Set, just like I did. We got beautiful Alicia Ray as me, my partner in crime, Danny Cooksey from The Terminator. We got my girl, Natanya from Alex Mack. And we got somebody else that does voices for a lot of the Nickelodeon shows. I can't see the picture. But hey, check it out. For more information, timelinearcade.com, York, Pennsylvania. Come meet Mikey Raider, a.k.a. Michael Bauer, the actor, and support your boy as well. I'm very nervous about it. I've never traveled for a convention, and I got health issues and stuff like that. I'm pretty fucking scared. But this event, the next day, on September 15th, is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Las Vegas Raiders in Baltimore. And Baltimore is only an hour away from York, Pennsylvania, like 45 minutes away to the stadium. So I'm going to try my best to go to that game. I hope I have enough money. But hey, I'm hoping I get paid at the event and I make enough money to buy tickets for the next game, the next day on Sunday. Watch my Raiders versus the Baltimore Ravens in week 2, baby, September 15th. Let's freaking go. All right, let's get this quickly on screen. My viral video of 1,200 views, my post-game review, got a lot of feedback and a lot of hatred towards your boy. They thought I was talking smack about Antonio Pierce because he called timeouts at the end of the game. Then I had to make this video to respond to that. For like 30 minutes, I told everybody why the hell I did it and the way I'm thinking about this Raiders team. And I still got feedback and negativity. People were like, he only called timeouts because he wanted to check his players out. He wanted to find out who his dogs were. He only called timeouts because, he was trying to win the game because of the quarterback and this and that. I don't care. I proved that was all false. But Mikey Raider apparently, according to some people, has an issue with Antonio Pierce. No, I don't. I had an issue with calling the timeouts when we're all about the just win, baby, and I have an issue with his game management. But he's learning on the job, and he said it. But for all the people that think he did it to test out his dogs and everything, even in this video, I wasn't able to show this clip. But here, I'm going to prove to you that Antonio Pierce made a mistake. And it was a mistake, and I'm going to forever call out mistakes, whether it be by our players, by our coaches, or our staff, or our owner or managers. I'm going to call out their mistakes. I am a critical ass motherfucker when it comes to my Raiders because I just want to win. And I'm tired of the losing mentality. It's only the preseason, Mikey. It's only the preseason. It doesn't matter if we lost. Josh McDaniels won every game and we still lost. It's only the preseason, Mike. That's a fucking loser mentality if I ever heard one. Go fuck yourselves for people with that mentality. Raiders want to win. They need to win. And Antonio Pierce made mistakes in his first game in trying to build the culture. And he was asked about it, and look at his response. And I give him all credit for a day after the game admitting he failed. Most coaches don't even have the hubris or the humility to admit they failed. Antonio Pierce did. He must have watched my video where I yelled at him in the post-game review. And I believe Antonio Pierce and the Raiders are still watching some of my videos. So maybe I'm a little bit relevant in the Raiders culture still, a little bit. But here's Antonio Pierce, and I give him all credit for responding and admitting he made a mistake.
Antonio, obviously exhibition game, so it's more about just seeing the reps and seeing how guys react. But at the end, taking those timeouts, what was kind of your mindset in taking those timeouts at the end of the game?
Yeah, lesson learned. I mean, we talked about it, thought maybe something that will play out a little differently. If I could do it over again, probably would.
Coach, going back to the timeouts you talked about, how much of a learning experience is that? Like, how valuable is that for you, especially as a younger coach, to have game situations where you can find things that you can learn from?
Well, I think it's just all of us. Matt Sheldon, who helps out with game management and situation. I think all of us need to go back and evaluate it. It's a preseason. There's things that we want to do differently in the preseason that we do in the regular season. That was one example there.
There it is. He said there's things that we're going to do different in the preseason than the regular season. That was kind of the excuse. Again, a minute before that, we saw him admit that he made a mistake. I don't know what he was thinking, but it clearly was not correct. He doesn't have the experience to watch the games from a fan perspective. He's got so much going on that at the end of the game, when they had the ball and they were driving down the field, I wish he would have had the experience to realize that's a rookie quarterback. He has to battle the clock and a lot of other things instead of calling the timeouts for whatever reason he did. But Antonio Pierce is going to learn this, and he has the humility to apologize for his mistake. And I'm done. I'm so proud of you, Antonio Pierce. I'm going to let it go from this point moving forward. But still, I have some concerns because I talked about it in last week's show, even before all of this happened, with Dan Campbell being a player and now a coach, making some really horrific decisions, but he did it in the playoff game. Thank goodness you did a horrific decision in a preseason game, as opposed to Dan Campbell doing it in a playoff game, where he, went for it on 4th and 1 and they didn't move forward to the Super Bowl or whatever. So, but I'm proud of you, Antonio Pierce. I'm your guy, dude. I'm still your biggest fan, and we're all good, brother. We're all good. But again, let's just watch him take accountability. 100% and move on. Mikey Raider needs this for his trauma.
Antonio, obviously exhibition game, so it's more about just seeing the reps and seeing how guys react. But at the end, taking those timeouts, what was kind of your mindset in taking those timeouts at the end of the game?
He's mad.
Yeah,
he knew
lesson learned. I mean, we talked about it.
They told him he effed up.
Something that will play out a little differently. If I could do it over again, probably would.
Coach, going back to the timeouts you talked about, how much of a learning experience is that? Like, how valuable is that for you, especially as a younger coach, to have game situations where you can find things that you can learn from?
Well, I think it's just all of us. Matt Sheldon, who helps out with game management and situation. I think all of us need to go back and evaluate it. It's a preseason.
He said Matt Sheldon needs to learn moving forward. So maybe that was the dude that was supposed to get in his ear for game management. Because Antonio Pierce has probably left it up to other people. And then he was told after the game, they were like, hey, man, people watching at home knew what's up. You didn't. Here's what happened. And then he probably watched it again and went, oh, shit. There's also a theory out there from me. Because the gambling was -1 for the Vikings. And Antonio Pierce does need money. He owes people money. I don't think that happened. There's also another theory from a fan on that video the other day. They spoke about the Vikings. Maybe Antonio Pierce did it to let the Vikings quarterback look good and win the game because they have a long history together. That was an interesting theory. Also, J.J. McCarthy talked smack and got injured. Now he's out for the season. I mean, that sucks. It really does suck. But maybe that's a little bit of karma for saying the Raiders' defense is vanilla. I don't know if he heard it at practice the next day or two. I don't know. But maybe the Raiders' defense wasn't so vanilla, J.J. McCarthy. Just saying. But get better soon, man. Nobody wants to start their rookie season off like that. All right, let's move on from this and let's quickly read some comments real quick. All Eyes on G is on there. One Night Stand is on there. What's up, people? I'm glad Will stood up. LOL. Mikey, what up, brother? Shout out to you. Ruben Nava. Should the Raiders bring back Hunter Renfrow, Aco Renfrow, Trish? We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. I promise you in the free agent segment. Sluggo. They got a lot of young players they can build a team on. Just need to get a decent quarterback like Carr. Yeah, that was something I talked about in the other video the other day. Is if we had Carr right now with a possible top 5 defense, would this be our season? I don't know. Some people would say Derek Carr would mess it up. Some people say it would be our season. Deuce Gruden, Mikey fan, like 5 years. What's up, Ghost? I don't have a Raider room. My house smells like a hamster cage, and I want to move somewhere better. I'm sure my apartment smells like me. This is a Mikey Raider stench. I should put it into a frickin' cologne. When you live in a studio apartment, you have to have the air conditioner on. There's barely a couple of windows. This shit gets smelly. Antonio Pierce hasn't earned the stripes yet. Davante has yet even. Yeah, we're going to talk about Davante in just a couple of seconds, everybody. But let's just quickly talk about this new Raider culture that's starting to appear with Antonio Pierce. I made an intense speech the other day on last week's show of the Raiders Rants. I believe Antonio Pierce watched it because I don't want the Raiders to say the word lose anymore. I'm tired of that mentality, and I'm really tired of it. And this is the Antonio Pierce that I want to see every week, even with decisions. This guy.
All here. We believe. Think about what I said. I will. We will. I believe. We believe. Goddamn, this is what the hell we do. Let's smoke up. Let's talk up. The Raiders goddamn way. Let's do it.
Now you have the.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it, man. I love that. That is the history. So Antonio Pierce is clearly up against a lot of things. Antonio Pierce definitely wants to add swag and set a tone for this upcoming season. And this is what he said in his press conference just yesterday. This is really interesting, and this is why I'm so proud of the guy, and I'm still all in on AP. I am not a hater just because I criticize him and his game management decisions in the preseason. This is what I love to hear from them. Check this out.
Antonio, obviously it's not a game, but for you to be the head coach now, to get in the locker room again, to get on the field again, is there like a different feeling now that you have this job, it's going forward and start of a new season for you?
Yeah, it was really exciting even last week in preseason one to get out there and get back in the groove and like all of us, dip our toe in the water, and then we got to jump in the water and go out there and get after it. And I think there was so much learning and teaching tape for last week's film for our players, for our coaches, for myself, from a lot of situational football. We got a lot of great examples of that to work on. And I think it's even better here at home. We got 8 games here in the regular season, and our goal is to win every one, obviously.
There you
we
go.
want to really create that and get that black hole going again. So for me, is huge to really set the tone for our staff and our team of what we want to look like at home.
That's what I'm talking about, AP. Set the motherfucking tone. Just like Mikey Raider did in his intense speech last week on the show. I'm trying to set a tone. That's why I'm so critical of the timeouts. And I'm going to be critical of every motherfucker on the Raiders this year. Every motherfucker. It's all aligned for us to win. Yes, we struggle on offense. We don't really have a quarterback. We got a papered defense that's top 10. But all the lights are aligned for us to win and to start setting a culture and a tone. It's all there. So that's why these mistakes, even in preseason, piss me the F off. But again, I'm glad it happened in the preseason and it doesn't happen in the regular season. But I still have my concerns. But that's what I'm talking about. Antonio Pierce, the stakes are this high. He's probably, I think he's only got a 2-year contract for like $10 million. So he's getting $5 million a piece. And he owes like $25 million to Hyundai or somebody else in the bankruptcy thing. It's all on the line for Antonio Pierce, man. He's got a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. Now he's got to get all the players and the veterans buying in. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But Antonio Pierce needs wins. To do what he's doing, he needs wins. And he needs to also set a tone. For the new Raider way that he's been proudly displaying since last season. Let's watch his final statement, and that proves he wants wins.
Antonio, on the second half of the season last year, the team really stepped it up under your guidance, especially on defense, and you actually became part of the storyline in terms of your job, people chanting your name. You remember the last game of the year, and I'm wondering, this year, is there some kind of storyline or some rallying point that you sense that the team is going to take to get to that next level after the second half?
A rally point is right now.
We hit it on training camp. What some of our players did. They're reading headlines of what the media is saying and predicting of our record and what they think of our defense and coaches and players. And I mean, they're taking that to heart. And I think, we got to go out there and obviously produce and change that narrative. But I think that'd be one of the storylines. I think these guys, and I know for myself, we're tired of losing.
Hell yeah.
This organization wants to be consistent. We want to be in the hunt for the playoffs and then have an opportunity to win the division and get that lottery ticket to play in the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. So that's our goals, like every team, the other 31 teams in the National Football League. But I think this team is hungry to really prove what we did in the last 9 games, especially that last month, wasn't a fluke.
Again, that question from that reporter was so stupid. Is there going to be a rallying point? Because there has to be a rallying point for the Raiders to win. Is there going to be a situation or a rallying point for the Raiders to step it up? Because that's the history of the Raiders. We need some sort of rallying cry. John Gruden gets fired. Derek Carr gets cut. Josh McDaniels gets fired. Antonio Pierce becomes a new coach. Max Crosby gets into a fight at practice. I'm just so tired of the mainstream media as well as the Raiders are. And we've been reading the quotes and everything. And again, this is why Antonio Pierce has more pressure on him than probably any other coach in the NFL. The whole world's looking at him. Even Raider Nation, to build this legacy, this swag, to build a winning culture, as he just spoke about, and consistency. This dude has a lot on his shoulders. Now he gets it from the media. He also gets it from people like me who critique him. And this dude is handling it like a champ so far. That's why I'm so proud of this dude. It's going to get worse. But if he's handling it with humility like we just spoke about, owning up to his mistakes, the Raiders are in good hands. The Raiders are in good hands. I still don't know why he filed for bankruptcy through his wife. Was he hoping to get a discount? I don't know. But hey, he's bought in. And he needs to win now. He wants to make more money. He wants to build the Raiders culture. Because if you can do all of this, you're going to make more money. You're going to be a legend to the Raiders. You know, you might even be bigger than John Gruden if you can get this thing consistent for 3 to 5 years. So, I'm proud of you, brother. Trying to build a new culture. We got a lot of things going on. And what's one way that you build the new culture? Is you have to have the players buy in. And I spoke about this on a show a little while ago. Maybe the first episode of the new season. I spoke a little bit about Davante Adams on the show called Receiver, where he was owning it up to the cameras, being pissed off, being outspoken. Oh, that was during Josh McDaniels. When Antonio Pierce came in, he was all good. He's still worried about injuries. He's worried about his legacy. He truthfully wishes he never came to the Raiders. People might get mad at me, think that's not the case, but it is. Because of everything that happened with Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr and whatever of the like, Davante Adams wanted the money, but he didn't want the headache. And we are now learning who he is after 30 years of age and having a child. His life plans are a little bit different than just winning for the Raiders. It's probably third on the scale. You know how they got faith, family, football? Football might be fifth or fourth on his scale. That's because he's playing without Derek Carr and for the Raiders. But thank goodness Antonio Pierce and him believe in each other and got each other's back, and they want to build a winning culture for the Raiders. Thank goodness that's what's happening. All the headlines are talking good about Davante Adams and Antonio Pierce and their chemistry. There's no headlines that could possibly become a problem. Antonio Pierce and Davante are perfect. There's no issues. They love each other and everything is golden. Am I being sarcastic? We're going to find out. But Davante Adams, man, he started building his brand this past season. He started ever since he came to the Raiders. But they built a Taco Bell in his house. And yes, I'm jealous. I ain't talking shit. I love Davante. Relax. I'm just critical, like I just talked about, of everything. I love Davante. I love Taco Bell in my house. For them nacho fries. Hey, Davante, are these my fries? These ain't nacho fries. But Davante Adams, man, he just had a baby boy, I believe it was. Congratulations. Hopefully happy, healthy, and beautiful. But Davante Adams, in my opinion, and a lot of you are not going to agree, he's had one foot out the door since last season, or ever since they got rid of Derek Carr. He's had one foot out the door in his mind. Now we got the trade possibilities that I talked about on a couple episodes ago or in clips, where I believe he will be gone next year, if not this season, depending on how many games the Raiders win. That is a problem that is lying in the wake, behind the scenes. Because he doesn't like the hospital balls that he got from all the young quarterbacks ever since Derek Carr left the team. That messes with his health, his mind, his family, his wallet, his money. And he's tired of it. He's had one foot out the door for at least a year now, regardless if Antonio became his coach. So that is something that's lying in the wake that is happening. And now that the season is closer, we're officially realizing that he has had one foot out the door. And now the Raiders are publicly kind of revealing that they're possibly 1 foot out the door with Davante as well. They're not really there yet. But again, that trade, the amount of money he's going to get, it just doesn't look good for the Raiders and Davante past next season. A lot of people have passions. Oh, he'll sign a new contract. You know, he'll renegotiate this and that. Great. If that happens, great. But I'm having issues with some of the comments and the way Antonio Pierce is dealing with the Raiders and some of these situations publicly. Now, Davante Adams a couple of days ago was asked, does he want to play in the preseason? Or if he's going to play. And he said, I'd prefer not to. His preference was not to play in the preseason. Okay, you're a veteran. You shouldn't have to. No veteran wants to play in the preseason. But now it's only been down to 3 games, and I understand it. But Antonio Pierce has a job to do. He has to build a new culture. He has to get these young players to buy in. He has to get everybody to do what the fuck he says. Whatever his decisions are, he's the coach. Regardless of your preferences, Davante. If you want to help Antonio Pierce set a tone, why not go along with this? Why make your preference public known? Why not just say, are you going to play in the preseason? Goes, I'd prefer not to, but if I'm told to go in, I'm going to give it all I got. Something like that. But no, Davante has to go the route of, I'd prefer not to. We'll leave it at that. So is there a rift between Antonio Pierce building this team? Is Davante worried that he just wants to go home? He doesn't want to get injured from his quarterbacks? I don't want to play in a preseason game because it doesn't mean anything. I don't want to help Antonio Pierce build a roster and build a swag and a culture. Max Crosby played. Regardless, Max Crosby wants to play in every game. Max Crosby's buying in, Davante. And again, I'm not questioning your motives, and whatever you're thinking is relevant and it is accepted. That's why this proves to me you have 1 foot out the door. You're not thinking about the Raiders as much as you are yourself at these moments and your health, which is perfectly fine. You already got your money. You don't need to think about the Raiders and Antonio Pierce, especially in these preseason moments. I understand that. Some people are going to come back at me and say, I understand that. But why is players like Max Crosby not thinking that way? Do you understand what I'm saying? What is that? Is that the... Yeah, got here. So let's quickly watch how this is possibly going to become a problem if the Raiders lose. But let's watch how Antonio Pierce looks when he's asked the question about Davante. Let's quickly look at the headline. Davante Adams on whether or not he'll play in the preseason. If I'm choosing, I'm not playing. That's a perfect statement. I mean, it doesn't call out Antonio Pierce. Doesn't do anything. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, like always. But fuck it, it's good content. Let's watch what Antonio Pierce says when asked about Davante. Because this has come up in camp already. Maybe even the week before when Davante went home 2 days or 3 days before the birth of his son, and he wasn't at camp. Davante has missed camp a little bit. And he hasn't gotten a lot of passes or catching a lot of balls from these young quarterbacks. So Davante has some issues playing on in the background. And him and Antonio Pierce talked about it. And for some reason, he didn't play in that first game. They can call it the birth of his baby. I don't know the actual date, but he didn't play last week versus the Vikings. He didn't travel with the team. Antonio Pierce let him not travel with the team for whatever reasons. But this is the week Antonio Pierce is setting the tone. He wants all his players to play, and Davante doesn't want to. He spoke about it publicly, which undermines Antonio Pierce. It fucking undermines him, because this is what he said when he was asked about it after Antonio Pierce publicly said he doesn't want to play in the preseason if it was his choice. Antonio Pierce says this because he has to set a tone for everybody, and they have to buy in to this new Raider way. I don't care if you're a veteran or not, and leaders like Davante should have bought the fuck in.
You said starters will play this week. Davante last night said he'd choose not to if it was up to him. Will there be a conversation, or do you think that it's kind of his point in his career would be up to him?
No. If you're healthy, you'll play.
Something that we saw yesterday was Trayvon Merrick. He got an interception. Obviously, the safeties they've been.
All right, you see the animosity in Antonio Pierce's voice. He has to be the strict leader of the team. He has to be above Davante, regardless if Davante likes it or not. And he says, you're going to play. Clearly, Davante is not going to agree. So this is possibly the starting of a rift, per all the situations we just spoke about. And it sucks. It sucks. It really does. And I hate that I see the glass half empty instead of full. But I got a lot of trauma, y'all, in my real life, my Raider life, and a lot of other situations. So I see problems before they arrive sometimes. Like 80% of the time, I see problems before they arrive. Because I have to learn how to manage it as soon as possible in my real life. But this is weighing heavily on Antonio Pierce. That he has to be the bad parent. That he has to tell everybody what to do, regardless if they like him or not. Even though he's trying to build a chemistry with Davante, it's more important to have the team buy in. And the reason why I know this really bothered Antonio Pierce and that Davante does not want to play is look at his motion when he talks about it. Then when he's asked another question by a reporter after this, his brain is freaking the F out thinking about the Davante problem. And he's like, oh, who's asking me a question? Because his brain focused on the Davante situation. And then the next question started, and he's like, fuck, this is a problem. I had to be, the bad dad just now. Watch it again.
You said starters will play this week. Davante last night said he'd choose not to if it was up to him. Will there be a conversation, or do you think that it's kind of his point in his career would be up to him?
No. If you're healthy, you'll play.
See, he's standing firm when he's being asked a question. Then he squirms. Look, if you're healthy, you're going to play. Like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. Regardless of Davante, I have to do this. And then watch when he's asked the next question. That means his brain is doing nothing but thinking about it.
Do you think that it's kind of his point in his career would be up to him?
No. If you're healthy, you'll play.
Something that we saw yesterday was Trayvon Merrick. He got an interception.
His brain is like, oh, shit. This could possibly become a problem. Let's read the reporter's quote from ESPN or wherever the hell it was about this situation. This week, Davante Adams returned to the team after missing the previous week of camp and the first preseason game to be at home for the birth of his son. Upon returning, he was asked about whether he would like to play in the team's second preseason, Las Vegas against the Dallas Cowboys, to which he responded, if I'm choosing, I'm not playing. I mean, you can't even do it for the fans, Davante? Are you that concerned about all your personal stuff? The thing is, he's not choosing. Correct. The coaches decides who plays in the preseason. That coach is Antonio Pierce. And in the first preseason game, all healthy players took the field. That's what I'm saying. That's why there's a problem. In the first game, Davante was nowhere to be found. They said it was for the birth of his son, but I doubt it. It might have been. I don't know. I'll leave that one alone. First game, everybody played. All expected player. The coaches, Antonio Pierce, in the first preseason game, all healthy players took the field, including all expected starters, regardless of veteran status. That's called setting a tone. It's what he needs to do. And Davante's not helping him out. Pierce said unequivocally, regardless of Adams' preference, he will be taking the same approach for the week preseason game. No, if you're healthy, you're playing. We just watched. Adams had mentioned that he hadn't played in a preseason game since 2017. Davante Adams had mentioned that he hadn't played in a preseason game since 2017. I understand that's the track record and you're used to it, but I understand where Antonio Pierce is coming from, and you need to buy in publicly. I'll leave it at that. Looks like his streak of non-preseason games is going to end on Saturday night. That's right. He also missed a lot of camp and didn't, get the chemistry with the quarterbacks. So you need this freaking game, Davante. You need this freaking game. All right, let me see what you guys are chiming in about this subject real quickly. Greg Lear, that's why I wanted to trade Davante Dude last year. He's a toxic leader. It's appearing to become that way. Thanks for the mod status, Mikey Raiders. True Raider, you posers don't think big picture. There are signs of weakness going on. True Raider said, Davante telling who he wants his quarterback to be? Correct. Another good point, True Raider. Another great point about that. Davante says, Davante telling who he wants his quarterback to be says to me that all he wants is 20 targets per game. Yeah, it's that diva wide receiver mentality that I love, but it's not team-oriented right now. And right now, Davante needs to be team-oriented. For this, if he really believes in the Raiders and the new Raiders culture, he needs to believe in that. What's up, True Raider? Crosby getting into it when it wasn't half beef. Rookie says, two ain't leader. I'm sorry, my brain. Crosby getting into it when it wasn't his beef with a rookie says to me, he ain't a leader I want, a drama queen. Ooh, interesting take against Max Crosby. Adams will regret leaving the silver and black. If he does, our time is now 100%. Ghost, Davante Adams getting 20 targets is better for the team than 10 or 5 from bad quarterbacks. Davante getting 20 targets, how is it better for the team if they're from bad quarterbacks? Going to be more hospital balls. They're forcing it to him. It's not a good strategy. True Raider, Ghost, please relax. You're new. The chat room's getting lit. Go, please. You're new, and it's okay, but relax. Adams is a diva. He's great, but he wants out. Yes, he has 1 foot out the door, I believe. But he still loves the Raiders. You can still love the Raiders and have 1 foot out the door. I do it every season. Every season I have 1 foot out the door. I make videos. I quit. But they keep pulling me back in. LOL, I'm not new. I've been a Raider fan longer than you. Been alive. We've had divas. Adams isn't. Ghost, I have to disagree with that. Adams is a diva, but because he's a Raider, you're not wanting to call him a diva. It's just my opinion. What's on the menu for tomorrow's game? Yeah, that'll be coming up, True Raider. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. I truly appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up, that like, that subscribe button. Consider becoming a member of this channel for early and exclusive content and more stuff like this. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. Now, let's just quickly talk about... I'm trying to see my storylines. We got to do this every couple minutes, y'all. We have to.
All here. We believe. Think about what I said. I will. We will. I believe. We believe. God damn it, this is what the hell we do. Let's smoke up. Let's talk up. The Raiders goddamn way. Let's do it.
Now you have the
Yeah, we got to do that every once in a while, y'all. We got to do that every once in a while. All right, let's talk about. Do we have a cheap owner and general manager? Let's talk the best free agents available for the Raiders. But if you guys have been watching the show on a weekly basis, I think I exposed the point that Tom Telesco is a general manager that is here to cut cost for the Raiders, to try to build a winning team while not overspending. And I truly believe that Mark Davis is saving money because he has all these people to pay, the ex-coaches, John Gruden, Josh McDaniels, and all the staff and people that he fired and players from previous seasons, that he kind of knows this year might be a down year. And that's why he didn't want to move up in the draft to get a quarterback. They didn't want to give up all the value because this season might be a wash. At least the experts are saying that. But Mark Davis is trying to save money. That's clearly why they didn't bring in a ton of free agents right around the start of training camp. Now we've had some injuries of note, of decent note, like Colton Miller and stuff like that. And I keep asking my question, while other free agents are being signed by other teams per injuries, are we waiting till the start of the season to bring in free agents? Because these veteran free agents, we don't want them in camp. Are we waiting for a bigger injury to a player? Or are we holding out hope? I don't know. But I still ask the question, why haven't the Raiders brought in another free agent or two of a bigger name and a bigger salary to play? The more the merrier. If we got money, we should sign these players. We do have key injuries at certain points right now in the second week of preseason, and you need to get these players in now, or at least by the third preseason game, to hopefully be good depth for the Raiders. If you have the money, why are we not bringing these players in? Are they waiting to see the players that get cut at the end of this week's game? Probably. So I'm hoping there's a future where we can get some veteran free agents onto this team for a few dollars to add to our depth, because after last week's Vikings game, some of these young players don't look like they got it. Don't look like they got it. And I should have spoke about the Nathan Peterman situation in a second. I'll do that after this segment, because there's a big storyline there about the quarterback situation and the Raiders' belief. We'll get into that. But why haven't the Raiders picked up any free agents? Maybe they're waiting for something else. I don't know. But in my opinion, there's a couple out there that we should have been gotten on this team. Let's quickly look at the cap space for the Raiders. They got apparently $35 million in cap space, and we're already in week 2 of the preseason, 2.5 weeks away from the start of the season, and we have a roster of 91. So you got to remember, in like 2 weeks, that roster of 91 is going to go down to what? 54, 55, then about 10 or 11 on the roster. So it's going to go down to like 65 or 67 in total. So that's going to free up almost 30 players that are going to be cut. That's probably going to add another million or so, depending on who's cut, onto our cap space. So I'm just going to throw out the number of $37 million. Maybe we have $37 million of cap space going into the season. The cap to begin the season was $221. And we're going to have like 12% to go into the season. And that's the minimum that the NFL allots for. You have to spend something like 90% of your cap, of your entire salary cap that season. So the Raiders are playing Moneyball. The NFL requires everybody to spend by the end of the season, of that season, 90, I believe it's 90% or something like that of their entire cap space. So that leaves 10%. And we're at like 11 or 12% left over right now, with 37 million possibly in space. We're like at 11 or 12%. So that leaves possibility of one free agent or a couple of players for like $1 million or something like that. That doesn't leave it up to 2 or 3 free agents for more than that, because I believe Mark Davis and Tom Telesco are wanting to hoard that exact 10%, that exact 10% that's left over from the 100% of the salary cap, to leave it in the bank, to pay off players and earn interest. Why not milk the system while you can it? The Raiders are playing Moneyball this year for sure. They are playing Moneyball. That's why they only got a quarterback for $15 million, and they kept the rookies, and they kept low salaries, and they want undrafted free agents to make the team, like Will Putnam that we just talked about, the center. They don't want to pay centers a lot more money in the future. They want to create their own homegrown talent, which I applaud them. But they're definitely playing Moneyball in some sort of fashion. I just haven't figured it out. But they're playing Moneyball, and they're saving money to earn interest, to pay people, and to pay teams. And they're not going to pick up any more big free agents this season. They technically want to save probably $35 million, which is what, 10%? Is that what's 10% of $221 million? That'd probably be $22 million. And we got 37 possibility. So that frees up what? 15. Maybe 13, maybe 14. After all the players are cut. But that's good. Now that I think about it, we have $14 million to play with in free agency. Because if the NFL league mandates 90%, then they can hoard $22 million. So we're doing okay. But still, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm having fun, y'all. This is Mikey Raider fun. This is what Mikey Raider does for fun, y'all. Thinks about some weird shit. Then I answer myself. I realize my questions are incorrect, and then sometimes I answer myself. So technically, I think we got like 13 or 12 million to spend per any injuries this season, and we have to spend that amount if there's 90% for the NFL. Whatever. I'm going to leave it alone. But it's interesting. I still think we're playing Moneyball and saving money. Let's quickly look at some of the best free agents available from this list. Hopefully no injuries to our team, which we've already had a few. But let me know from each list who you would pick up. Apparently, I'm guessing, I thought we only had like 2 or 3 million to spend, but then I quickly thought about it. Maybe have 12 million to spend per the NFL rules. But either way, let me know what player from this list you would get. Let's start on the offense. Okay? And the reason why I did the quarterback segment a minute ago was so I could talk about this segment. But we're going to have to do that segment right after this. But Antonio Pierce said, you know, they brought in Nathan Peterman for camp competition. And we'll explain that in a minute. Well, why not bring in Ryan Tannehill? Does he covet $20 million? Is he better than Gardner Minshew? Is he better than Aiden O'Connell? I don't know. If it's purely camp competition, one of these remaining quarterbacks could have been brought onto this team. But then you would have had 3 quarterbacks vying for the top spot instead of 2, because some of the names on here are big, like Ryan Tannehill, Trevor Siemian, Blaine Gabbert, A.J. McCarron, Brian Hoyer, and Kellen Mond. I guess Brian Hoyer is doing TV now, so he's retired. But hey, if it's really camp competition, you should have brought in Ryan Tannehill. I'm not saying he's good, but he's better, possibly, than Aiden O'Connell at this point in his career. He might be even to Gardner Minshew, if not a little worse. but he's definitely better than Carter. It's because he would covet a salary bonus of $1 million or $2 million, and signing bonus of like 8, 9, 10 million, something like that. That's why you don't bring him in. So don't say it's for camp competition when I'm going to prove you wrong in a minute. But if I was to bring in anybody from this list, to be quite honest with you, instead of Nathan Peterman, I would have brought in AJ McCarron. But if it's all about camp competition, you got to bring in Ryan Tannehill. He could win a starting spot. He could possibly be better than everybody. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the chat room. Hey, I got a super chat donation. Thank you very much, Sham A. Where's the badass D-line Hondo raves about? Hondo Carpenter, let's go, Sam A. They look like shit versus the Vikings. I want to see improvements tomorrow. Yes. Thank you guys for the super chats and the donations. Congratulations, Sham A. You got an entry into the jersey raffle at the end of August for the Amari Cooper jersey. Thank you so much for chiming in. Tom Telesco wasn't the one writing them checks for free agents and players. Davis knows he's got to keep his own guys. Correct. Ryan, overall, how do you feel about the talent in the receiving corps? Putting aside any drama, how do you think everyone looked, including Trey Tucker and DJ Turner? Guys, if you guys can save these questions for the Raider Rant segment, once I'm kind of finished with the show, I truly appreciate it. And I know it's about probably 45 minutes away, but please come back and ask those questions. I want to answer them. I'm just in the middle of a show right now, and I'm trying to entertain. I love you guys. I appreciate it. Mikey Raiders like an economist, said Greg. Ryan Tannehill waiting for quarterback 1 injuries. That's true with Ryan Julian Raider. You're exactly right. All right, let's quickly tell me who you like from this running back free agents list if we needed anybody, which we technically don't. But these are technically the best running back free agents available for teams. You got Dalvin Cook, Latavius Murray, Kareem Hunt, Jerick McKinnon, Jacob Johnson, Kevin Smith, Melvin Gordon, Alex Armour, Brandon Bolden, the former Raider from last year or whatever, Eno Benjamin. You guys, you know what? I'd bring in Dalvin Cook, but can you afford him? He's waiting for injuries from other teams for more money. Latavius Murray would be one to come back to play for the Raiders, maybe retire a Raider, the next year or two. Kareem Hunt is an interesting choice. Jerick McKinnon, that's a really interesting choice. I mean, he could do some stuff when he's healthy. Out of all these players, man, to be quite honest with you, I like Zeus White. Who's the other guy? We got Alexander Madison. I like who we got as our big backs. But Dylan Lobb and the other running backs, Jerick McKinnon might feel a position, catching the ball out of the backfield, special teams as well. So Jerick McKinnon's interesting to me. If we needed somebody, which I don't think we do, I would pick up Jerick McKinnon. That's just my opinion. Now let's look at the wide receiver room per the question we were just asked about, the best remaining wide receiver free agents. We got the idiot Michael Thomas. We got the former Raider Hunter Renfrow. I can't believe he's still out there. The Saints haven't picked him up yet with Derek Carr. That is really interesting to me. Corey Davis, Julio Jones, Alex Erickson, Lynn Bowden Jr., the drafted Raider. He is a special teams person, and he can do a lot. He has played decent at times, but he's got a character issue, apparently. Randall Cobb is going to go into TV and film. Richie James, Juju was released by the Patriots, hasn't been signed yet. Probably waiting for a team with an injury or something like that. Probably still covets, $7 million a season. Marcus Callaway and Chase Claypool, the guy that ruined his career with the Bears and whatnot. And just being a Raider, depending on what happens in these preseason games, I don't want any injuries to our young Raiders. But I would want Hunter Renfrow back without Josh McDaniels, with Antonio Pierce. I know he was with Antonio Pierce till the end of last season, and not a lot happened with Hunter Renfrow. Was that because of our quarterback situation and Aiden O'Connell? They couldn't get on the same page? I don't know. Is Hunter Renfrow too meek to really be a good slot wide receiver? Some people think so. But I would want Hunter Renfrow back. But I think he's probably going to end up going to the Saints with Derek Carr, maybe in the middle of the season or something like that, if they have an issue. I don't see him coming back, but I would pick Hunter Renfrow. Then if I had to pick somebody else besides Hunter Renfrow, I mean, let's be honest. I know he might be washed up now after injuries and stuff, but I'd bring in Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, honestly, I'd love Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Juju Smith-Schuster. He played at USC. He would basically be coming back to a team he watched growing up with and loved. And it would cost a pretty penny, though. And the Raiders are not willing to fork that up. But, I mean, that would be an interesting signing that maybe he can build the culture for the future moving forward. Clearly, the Patriots think he's lost a step. But technically, I think he'll gain a step if he came back to the Raiders, knowing that he's kind of close to California again, where he played college and his family. It'd be an interesting signing. But it's going to cost a pretty penny. All right, we don't need any tight ends, but maybe we do because we had the injury, I believe. I haven't looked up the entire details yet. I don't know how bad the injury was for the tight end, Harrison Bryant. But Jimmy Graham, Trayvon Wesco, Jeff Swim, Bryce Hopkins, and Logan Thomas is available. If I went out to get anybody, I would get Logan Thomas or Jimmy Graham. They're veterans. They played on multiple teams. They know how to join a team and be productive. So if we needed anybody, I'd pick one of those three to teach Brock Bowers and Michael Mayers, Logan Thomas or Jimmy Graham. Let's look at the offensive line positions where we do have some injuries of Colton Miller, Donovan Smith, David Bakhtiari, DJ Humphries, Jason Peters, Dwayne Brown, Riley Reif. Again, they're all waiting for a payday. Most of them. Raiders are not willing to pay. But if I were to bring in anybody, I'd bring in Jason Peters. That name just stands out as probably him or David Bakhtiari coming off an injury. But I would go with Jason Peters just because that name rings out to me. But he'll cost a pretty penny. And we all just talked about the Raiders are not willing to spend. And again, we're looking at our young players for the future because we're playing money ball, as I just spoke about. Let's look at the offensive guard free agents. Phil Haynes, Halopato Avatai, Mark Lowinski, Justin Pugh, Tyree Phillips, Trey Turner, Justin McCray, Matt Fleur, DJ Fluker, Ike Booker. If I would pick anybody up, whether he's the best with the Giants or not, I would pick up Justin Pugh for an offensive guard position. He's at least second string or third string at the worst, and he's been on multiple teams, and he can actually play some games, but hopefully at a higher level than he did in the past. But that's who I would pick up at the offensive guard position in free agency. Now, why did the Raiders build up Will Putnam? Why is he getting in fights, as we just spoke about? Because Ben Brown, our free agent that we picked up, is not playing so great. But he's a veteran. The best remaining center free agents are Mason Cole, Connor McGovern, Scott Quisenberry, Brian Allen, and Pat Efron. I'd go with Scott Quisenberry just because I like that name. And the sweet of the berry, the sweet of the juice. But that's why they're bringing up undrafted free agents like Will Putnam to possibly become starters in the league to save money next year from our centers. Let's look at the defensive side of the ball, as we just spoke about. Because we do need better defensive depth, as we just spoke about. We definitely need better depth. I thought we had some really good depth, but apparently we don't. So maybe the Raiders could pick up one of these players if they need to. But again, we already talked about it. They're not going to. Or they have enough money for one of these veteran players. Best defensive line free agents: Hassan Ridgeway, Lawrence Guy, Brian Moan, Linval Joseph, Al Woods, Tyson Alou, Matt Dickerson, Darren Niggs, Carl Davis, Brandon Fico. All right, I'm going to go with Linval Joseph. I remember, did he play for the Vikings? I think he played for the Vikings, the Bucks maybe. He's a good player. He's a good player. Let's look at the edge rushers. And that brings me to talk real quickly about Tyree Wilson. I was expecting a big game from him last week in the preseason. Didn't happen. They decided to move him all around the field again as well. And it didn't happen. I haven't heard anything about him in the media. They're shying away from talking about Tyree Wilson in his second year. I'm getting worried, y'all. Getting really worried. Let's hope he has a big game versus the Cowboys tomorrow. Yeah, we need to hear some stuff about Tyree Wilson. Is he injured? I don't know. I haven't read anything like that. Maybe he is. I don't know. But we haven't heard anything. I'm getting worried. Who are the best remaining edge free agents? Yannick Ngakoue, the former Raider. Charles Harris, Tyus Bowers, Marcus Haynes, Shaq Lawson, Kamiko Turi, Austin Bryant. Well, if I would pick anybody from that list, I'd go back to Yannick. He's better than Tyree Wilson at this point in his career, but again, he would cost a pretty penny. He's still going to covet $7, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 million a year, whatever the case may be. But hey, if Tyree Wilson don't pan out, the Raiders need to look at one of these dudes. Seriously. Because our backup depth looks like shit. And if Tyree Wilson doesn't have it, you got to bring in one. I'm not saying cut Tyree Wilson just yet. I'm saying one of these dudes for another $7, $8 million. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Where are we? Let's talk about the linebacker free agents. We got a good linebacking core this year. They're going to be really good. Just the other day, Robert Spillane was talking good about Tommy Eichenberg, who's finally back with the team. And a lot's expected from him, Tommy Eichenberg. But the best remaining linebacker free agents are Shaq Leonard, Zach Cunningham, Quan Alexander, Josh Woods. If I'd pick anybody from that name, I'd pick Quan Alexander because I like that name. I would take out every time he sacked somebody or intercepted the ball or got a tackle, I would call that a K, like a strikeout. And then the next letters are 1. That we won. Quan. You get it? That's what I'd pick. Even though the bigger names are Zach Cunningham and Shaq Leonard, I'll take Quan Alexander so we can win with a K. But yeah, we got a pretty good linebacker core this year. They should come into their own. Divine Diablo is really good, man. He's really, really good. Robert Spillane, if he can do what he did last season, which is expected, it's going to be okay. Tommy Eichenberg, the young player. We got a decent linebacking room. At least 3 linebackers, to say the least. Again, we do need depth, so one of these players might be available. Let's look at the cornerback free agents because we're still figuring out our depth at the cornerback situation. We got some good starters once they're named that could have big seasons. We did lose a couple of players like Amik Robinson that I really wish was on this team. But we're playing Moneyball. That's why we didn't pay Amik Robinson. We didn't think the value was worth it. Because he's a shorter cornerback or safety or whatever. He's a shorter dude. But here's some best remaining cornerback free agents into week 2 of the preseason. Xavier Howard, Adoree Jackson, Stephon Gilmore. I think he visited with teams this past week. He'll be signed by the start of the season somewhere. Patrick Peterson, J.C. Jackson. Was he signed? I believe he might have been signed. Akilo Witherspoon, Keyshawn Crossan, Eli Apple, Chandler Sullivan, Jalen Mills, Aaron Robinson. Well, if the Raiders are comfortable with the young players we got at cornerback, they're not going to pick up any of these players because they're going to take a pretty penny. But if I had my choice, I'd immediately get Stephon Gilmore I'd immediately get Stephon Gilmore. Again, if it's a possible wash of a season, bring on Stephen Gilmore. Yeah, I know he's going to cost $10 million, but apparently, according to my math, we might have 12, 13 million left. So that'll get us a couple of free agents. That's my opinion. Or I'd pick up J.C. Jackson if he's available. And I always wanted Eli Apple on the Raiders, even though he took a visit a couple of years back. I just like the name Apple. So I can say, we took a bite out of the apple on that interception. My little stupid punch. Let's look at the safety free agents. Sorry, where are they? There we go. Look at the best remaining safety free agents. Micah Hyde, J-Ron Kirsch, Adrian Phillips, Keanu Neal, Rudy Ford, Ryan Neal, Adrian Amos, and Eric Harris. Is Micah Hyde still available? He's a versatile playmaker at multiple positions. I think he had an injury or something, but is he available? Are our safeties better than him? That might be the person I pick up. Or J-Ron Kirsch or Eric Harris. But man, that's some interesting names. I mean, I got the list earlier today, so I think these players are still available. Damn. If we're winning early and some of these players haven't signed and we think we're struggling at cornerback or safety and we're kind of winning a few games early, we're like 2-1, and some of these players are available, it would behoove it for the Raiders to go out, if they are worried about their depth, to pick up a couple of these big-name free agents and spend the money. Because if we're winning, let's keep the train rolling. All right, that's the look at the best available free agents while the Raiders are technically playing Moneyball this season. Let me quickly look and try to respect your guys' comments on today's show. And again, if you're enjoying today's show, please hit the thumbs up, that like, that subscribe button. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on a Friday night. I know it's late, and I just appreciate your company and your friendship because sometimes you're all I got. My life is a very lonely life. Sam A is online talking about Chase Claypool and the players they would have picked up. Let me quickly look at some of those. We got Andres Finesca saying, "What up, Mikey?" Kareem Hunt. Ghost would have picked up. True Raider, you guys hear Nicolas Cage will be playing John Madden in a movie? Really? Willie? Oh my goodness, I did not know that. You guys hear Nicolas Cage will be playing John Madden in a movie? Will Ferrell passed on it, scratching my head. I don't want Will Ferrell. I mean, he seems too funny, but I know he would do a good job. I like having Nicolas Cage as John Madden, even though it should be me. I am an actor, and I could play John Madden. Boom! Tough acting to acting. I'd have to work on my voice. That didn't sound so good. Andres Finesca would have picked up Tay-Train, Latavius Murray. True Raider would have picked up Michael Thomas in free agency. Sam A said Kareem Hunt. Andre said Renfro is the clutch. Lob looked like crap too. Yeah, he didn't look so great in the game. He missed some blocks, man. And I've been rooting for that dude. Andre Finesca said, I think Renfro has to be hungry to want to play. And you're right. Hunter Renfro doesn't look as hungry as he did in his first couple seasons. And did Josh McDaniels take the life out of Hunter Renfro? I don't know, man. Sam A said Chase Claypool, True Raider, Brock and Roll is a beefed up Renfro. Okay, there you go. That's true. Brock Bowers can play that. Jimmy Graham, he's like 100 years old, said Sam A. Dominique 5, what's up, Dominique? Haha, that's a great name. Julian Raider said, darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Oh, yeah, that's how you say it. That's how Mikey Raider messes up a lot of quotes. Talking about myself in the third person. Dionysius, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Bless you. Hey, guys, what's the deal with O'Connell's number? He changed it to 12, yeah, because he wanted to respect that idiocracy that Josh McDaniels gave him at number 4 in retaliation against Derek Carr and to change public's perception that we're watching a number 4 in the field so people would forget we got rid of Derek Carr. But Dionysius, Aiden O'Connell, now that the idiot, sarcastic, spiteful coach is gone, Aiden O'Connell went back to his roots and picked up the Rich Gannon number, and I believe it's the Jim Plunkett number as well. And he's starting a new legacy with number 12, and he's getting rid of the old Josh McDaniels forcing the number 4 on him. True Raider, Shaq Barrett, linebacker out of retirement would be great. Oh, so he's officially retired. Daniel Prendish, how you doing, Daniel? What's up? Been a long time, brother. No way. True Raider, no cornerbacks under 6 feet anymore. That's why Amik was 86. But, dude, he's still a baller, dude. Amik was a Raider, though. He was balling in and playing his heart out. That's why I want those players on the team still, by any means necessary. He did deserve a new contract from the Raiders. Amik did. But he might have got more from whatever team he went to. I think it was the Giants. But, yeah, I kind of wish he was still a Raider. I liked his mentality. Cornerback Patrick Surtain will be a heavily sought free agent next season. Denver ain't going to sign him. His dad played football, too. If you know, you know. Righteousness, number 12, Todd Marinovich. That's true, True Raider. Todd Marinovich, the drug addict, did have that name. Speaking of quarterbacks, let's bring it to the story that might not have made news to a lot of people, but we do have a quarterback battle brewing. And I spoke about it a little while ago, and I was kind of, when I heard this at the press conference from Antonio Pierce, when I initially heard it at his press conference, or when I was watching it, I immediately said, that's some bullshit. Antonio Pierce was saying some bullshit. He's a lot better than Josh McDaniels, and at times he has to say some things publicly. But I felt bad because I watch people when they talk, and I was like, that's some bullshit. Because the Raiders brought in Nathan Peterman, former Raider from like 2021, into the team right after the game, where Brown didn't look so good. Antonio Brown didn't look so good. Neither did Bradley Carter. They didn't allow Bradley Carter to do anything at the end of the game. I mean, Luke Getsy lacked the fucking killer instinct at the end of the game. We were up by 2 or 3 points or whatever the case was with like two minutes left. All we needed was a first down or two. But they ran the ball like 7 times in a row. They never let Bradley Carter, the third-string quarterback or fourth-string quarterback, whatever, they never let him take a pass in the game. Well, if you have belief in the kid and you put him in a game and you have the lead, where's the killer instinct? Oh, I don't want our players to get injured. That fucking losing mentality we talked about earlier in the show. It's ridiculous. But they didn't allow Bradley Carter to throw the ball and get a first down, and Luke Getsy lacked the killer instinct, and he's trying to establish the run game with the young players. I get that. But where are the Raiders? It's all about the just win, baby. Get Antonio Pierce a victory in the first preseason game, Luke Getsy. I mean, is this what's going to happen to you, Luke Getsy, during the season? In close games? You're going to fucking tighten up? Let it loose, motherfucker. I don't care if it's Bradley Carter at quarterback or Antonio Brown or whatever our quarterback's name was that we just released, and I'll talk about in a second. Anthony Brown, sorry. Let it loose. Oh, we didn't let Bradley Carter pass the ball because our O-line sucked so bad that every quarterback was getting sacked in the backfield. That's why we ran the ball 8 times in a row. Well, how are you going to test the players and the quarterback if you don't let them pass and get a first down? We could have milked the clock. We probably could have won the game. You lack the killer instinct. And if you do that shit in a real game, we're going to lose games. Because we're going to be in close games all year, Luke Getsy. We're going to be in close games all fucking year with our defense. And if you don't have the killer instinct like Antonio Pierce is trying to represent, You got to find that Raider killer instinct. But when Antonio Pierce was talked about why they brought in Nathan Peterman, I knew it was initially bullshit from what he said. Let's watch the way he answered it. And I'm sorry to say, this was some bullshit. And I knew it at first sight.
He went into the strategy to bring Peterman in. Bringing Peterman, what was behind that?
Competition. There's more competition in the quarterback room.
When I saw it, I was like, that's some bullshit. I'm calling you out, AP. I love you, brother. But that's some bullshit. You knew what was going on in that room, in that quarterback room. If it's just about competition, you should have signed Ryan Tannehill, as we spoke about. Or some of these other quarterbacks, if it's about competition. So that's a bullshit statement. Why you brought in Nathan Peterman was for quarterback competition? Bullshit! Because just the next day, the Raiders officially waived Anthony Brown. That's right. The quarterback that we signed to a future agreement last season that played with Antonio Pierce, that they had a lot of belief in, they kept him on the entire offseason, training camp, OTAs, etc., you name it. He was listed third on the depth chart. All of a sudden, after one preseason game, and he looked bad, I get it, he was let go. But again, they brought in Nathan Peterman. Then when Antonio Pierce was asked, he's like, oh, it's only for quarterback competition. Then the next day, Anthony Brown, might not have been the next day officially, but it was today officially. But still, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. Did they bring in Peterman? Then Anthony Brown got mad, caused some controversy. Then he left the team and was waived? I don't know. Why do you keep a guy on the team that long for almost a year? Not a year, but close to it. In the offseason and everything. Give him a futures contract and this and that. Put him third on the depth chart. To after one preseason game with a bad O-line as well, depth, to just get rid of the guy. We're going to waive you. We gave you a little bit of money. We put you third on the depth chart. We had belief in you all training camp, off season last year. And you looked that freaking bad that we had to bring in Nathan Peterman. It's interesting, guys. Did something bad happen? Probably not. They just realized that in this offense under Luke Getsy, his type of quarterback play in the RPO and other things just wasn't working. With the O-line players we got, the depth of this and that, they want a running quarterback that can make plays. But they don't want another Justin Fields. And a poor man Justin Fields at that effect. Maybe Anthony Brown said some things after the game. He played really bad. The O-line sucked. Maybe he said something like that. And it got the Raiders, Luke Getsy got wind of it. And they're like, you know what? Not taking accountability, blaming other people, making little comments. I don't want another Justin Fields with problems. And even though he's a running RPO quarterback, a play action quarterback, you know what? Any quarterback can do that. Maybe not like Lamar Jackson X, but Gardner Minshew can do some of that stuff. Aiden O'Connell maybe can do some of that stuff. And you know what? Let's bring in fucking Nathan Peterman. He's a veteran. He can do some of that stuff as well. We ain't going to put up with you, Anthony Brown. Or you did not look anywhere close after being on the team for almost a year or 9 months to where we have any belief in you. So that's why Antonio Pierce's statement was bullshit. He already knew what was cooking behind the scenes, but publicly he had to say it was for quarterback competition. And a couple of days later, they let go Anthony Brown, which shucks. A lot of us had high hopes for him and was kind of thinking like he could be an X factor in that quarterback room. And boy, that changed real quickly. So now we got all white quarterbacks. Mikey Raider took it to the racial divide. We don't got black and silver. We just got silver in our quarterback room. I ain't gonna lie, dude. I want one of those athletic quarterbacks, and I hate to say that they're always black. Maybe besides Josh Allen, but you know, they typically are. No hatred. I'm just saying, I kind of love that stuff, though. Yeah, I love the Lamar Jacksons. Patrick Mahomes is half and half. Oh gosh. Oh, Mikey Raiders having fun with racism comments or not comments, but like talk or racial talk. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be canceled, y'all. Back in the days, everybody knew it. Whenever you said, "Oh, they're not they're an athletic quarterback," or they're a running quarterback, everybody, whenever a white person said that, "Oh, they're we need an athletic quarterback," or "we need a running quarterback." Every time a white person said that, and I'll be honest, all the black people are just like, just say the word black. You need a black quarterback. Why did I even do that deep voice? Oh my God, I'm bad. But they knew that we wanted to say black quarterback, but we're afraid to say the word black because everybody's got us up in arms that if we say the word black, we're somehow racist. Like, it's ridiculous. That's a story for another day. That's a fun little segment, wasn't it? All right. So let's look at the picture real quickly and ask the question, who will be the starter in week 1 for the Raiders? Again, we're going to have Gardner Minshew. We'll talk about that in a little bit for the Cowboys game. Probably going to play more or beginning the game than Aiden O'Connell. But this person, when they signed Nathan Peterman, made the clickbait picture, who will be the starting quarterback in week 1? Because per Antonio Pierce, just saying that he brought in Nathan Peterman for competition, was it only for competition for Anthony Brown now that he's waived? No. You said it was for competition. So technically, Nathan Peterman could play well, and in the preseason, these next 2 games, technically he could ball out and bring himself up into the backup category, where it's either Gardner and Aiden O'Connell as the first string, and then Nathan Peterman as the actual backup. Then either Aiden O'Connell or Gardner goes into the season as the third quarterback. I doubt that'll happen. The chances of that happening are non-existent, honestly. But if it's for quarterback competition, Nathan Peterman, we already have a quarterback competition going. Try to win the fucking job. Go for it, brother. You were brought in for quarterback competition. And the truth is, you're going to make the team. You're probably going to make the team. It's you or Bradley Carter. It's probably you, Nathan Peterman. It's probably you. Shucks for Anthony Brown, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, everybody. We're going to get into the Raider Rant segment. I'm sorry, we're going to get into the Cowboys preview in just a couple of minutes. So, but we're going to watch a video first. But let me see your guys' comments on how the show's going so far. 2 hours in. Jan Isis said, haha, Tragedy. What's up, Tragedy? Gannon will be ready to critique AOC for his new number. That's right, Rich Gannon will critique it if he loses records or whatever. Remember when Rich Gannon did that against Derek Carr? Tragedy turned time. Well, true. Ghost said, bro, AP could just give him a chance till third game if you wanted competition. Correct. Tragedy, that's what I was trying to say with Anthony Brown's situation. AP could have just given him a chance till the third game if it was just competition. Then you could bring in a Nathan Peterman in week 1 if there's injuries, or week 2 to have a really good veteran on the team. Something happened with that Anthony Brown situation. I mean, did he suck that bad? Like, it's insane. Tragedy said it's clear he saw enough. Okay. I think it's Luke Getchie. Yeah, not Antonio Pierce. Don't know, but I'll give the edge to Minshew. Wi-Fi is the Nathan Peterman of content. I like Wi-Fi. He's a cool dude. Me and him got a lot of clickbait hot takes because we're trying to make a few dollars, but I like Wi-Fi. You guys might not. It's okay. I don't know how he does, though, like other team streams like New Orleans Saints. Even though I'm a fan of Derek Carr as well, I'm not a fan of the Saints. I would never wear a Saints jersey. You know, I'll root for Derek Carr to have a good game, especially against the AFC West opponents or AFC opponents or whoever. But if he's playing the Raiders like they are this year, that motherfucker must go down in that revenge game. It's in New Orleans. That motherfucker must go down. But yeah, Wi-Fi's a peculiar character, but he is a Raider fan. I respect him enough. All right, it's enough talk about Wi-Fi Willie. He's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. True Raider said, nah, Mikey, he took your subs. Everybody took my subs, if you want to think that way. Everybody took my subs. You know, but they're doing a good job. They deserve it. They deserve it. Well, no problem. Frost WSA, what's up? F Dallas. True Raider. Yeah, no more talking about Wi-Fi, dude. That dude's cool. He's got his own thing going on. I'm cool with him. If you guys are not, that's up to you guys. All right. We're going to watch, even though it says Raider Rants is next, we're going to watch a video on the Raiders and the legacy and the bricks. Then we're going to come back and talk the Dallas Cowboys preview. Then we're going to have the Raider Rant segment where you guys can chime in, donate, ask questions for a few more minutes to close out the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like, that subscribe button. Now let's watch this awesome legacy video on the Raiders Stadium and how they're building it for the fans.
When you build something with bricks, you expect it to last, to be strong and durable. The same can be said about Raiders fans, whose legacy is built on rock-solid loyalty.
Rock solid.
So it's only appropriate that these diehards are immortalized, brick by brick, at their new stadium in Las Vegas.
I've been a Raiders fan my whole entire life.
I did not grow up as a Raider fan until I met my husband. I wanted to go experience my first Raider game in Oakland. It was one of the best highlights of my life.
The Raiders were part of Ed and Tina Acevedo's love story, and also a part of their Vegas wedding.
We went to a chapel, and I just, came up like, hey, let's get married in our Raider jerseys. What do you think?
And I thought, you know what, that's so awesome. We have just as much love for the Raider Nation that we do for each other.
Do you have any regrets at all about not wearing a wedding dress?
Absolutely not.
Almost a decade after Ed and Tina were married, the Raiders Foundation unveiled the Legacy Brick Program, which gives fans a chance to design and purchase a custom brick to be placed at Allegiant Stadium. The price tag? $850.
Woo!
But the Acevedos weren't going to miss out on this opportunity.
We own a beef jerky business, and I told her, we have a go-to. They have these bricks they're selling at the new stadium. And they're pricey, but you know what? We're going to reach that goal.
And we did it, and we cannot wait to go see it.
Raiders fandom can be a family affair. For Mike Galarza and his youngest daughter, Adriana, the 365 miles they drove one way from LA to Oakland had a life-changing impact.
I would leave at 10 in the evening, and I would stop maybe halfway and get a few hours sleep and still get there before the gates would open.
In the 2018 season, during that season, we didn't know that my dad was sick. I think Sundays were his happy days, his distraction of not feeling well.
At the end of the season, I got diagnosed with cancer.
It was a very emotional time. Come fall, we were still going to the games, even though at that point my dad was receiving treatment.
I want to say subconsciously, Adriana got that brick, knowing that maybe my future with them at Raider games is a little unknown.
It says "Just Win Baby" for the Raider slogan, but it also says my sister's names.
My hope is that in the future, I'll be able to get in my car and drive to Vegas and hopefully have one or two of my girls with me when that happens.
Luciano Velez embodies the Raiders' motto, commitment to excellence. During the pandemic, he's delivered PPE to essential employees and meals to students in Santa Barbara, California.
Oh man, this is the hardest working Raider fan I know. How you doing, boy? Yeah.
He would be at work and he would come home and feel like, what if I've been exposed? And then I come home and I expose you. But then he realized and he knew that, you know, his job is important for thousands of kids that depend on these lunches.
All right, Luciano. Thank you.
No problem. I'm so proud of him for the father and the husband that he is for our family.
Told you! What did I say? What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means that we have a brick at the Raider Stadium. I didn't really think like, oh, you know, we were gonna do it, and then to get that for Father's Day, it was an amazing feeling. Hopefully we'll be able to be the first home opener next year to be able to go see that brick.
For the third time in franchise history, the Silver and Black will begin again in a new city. But no matter the change, one thing remains the same for Raider Nation. Wherever they lay their helmets is home.
Woo, Raider Nation, I gotta turn the song off. Forgive me. I gotta turn all the songs off. How do I stop it? There we go. Sorry. A little bit technical. Hey, guess what I did? I hooked some of you guys up and made you guys moderators. That's right. I made some of y'all moderators. Why? Because I respect you. I love you. And I see you guys in the room all the time. So I made y'all moderators. Because I had to kick out Virginia Hernandez, talking about the Chiefs. I didn't kick you out officially, just for 30 minutes. I didn't want to talk about the Chiefs. I didn't want my chat room to be hijacked by Patrick Mahomes fans. But I made some of you guys moderators because I love y'all, respect y'all, and I appreciate y'all. And continuous be a part of the chat, and you guys will get special privileges and other stuff moving forward. Consider becoming a member. Hey, you guys... If you have a few bucks, buy somebody memberships. Gift them with memberships on this channel. All right, let's get into the Cowboys Raiders preview. Let's get into the No, thank you, Tragedy. You guys are awesome friends and fans, and I appreciate y'all. And again, I have a fantasy football league. You guys can still join it. There's 2 spots available. And again, every $5 in Super Chat gets you into the jersey giveaway raffle, every new membership, stuff like that. I appreciate you guys get you an entry, trying to make some money off of YouTube. So consider supporting your boy in any way you can. Hitting that like button, subscribing, donations, PayPal, whatever. Let me see if we got a few phone calls that we're going to come up to. We got a phone call to come into in a minute in the Raider Rant segment. All right, let's bring on we got to do this quote. I told you guys 3-4 times every show.
Go here. No, we believe. Think about what I said. I will. We will. I believe, we believe. Goddamn, this is what the hell we do. Let's smoke up, let's talk up. The Raiders goddamn way. Let's do it.
Now you have the.
You gotta love it. You gotta do it 2 or 3 times an episode, if not more. If not more. All right, let's get into the Cowboys game. Let me see. Oh, I don't have the right graph. Oh, there we go. All right, I'll give my predictions, my storylines. Chime in the chat room below. Let me know your storylines, your matchups, your predictions as well. But let's quickly talk about this game and what it represents for the Raiders. First off, it's the second preseason game. So for all the freaking people in my previous videos, it don't matter, Mikey. It's just the preseason. It don't matter if we win or lose or Antonio Pierce calls timeouts. It don't matter, Mikey Reader. It's just the preseason. Then why the fuck are you going to watch? Why the fuck are you going to go pay money at the home stadium to watch the Raiders? And I guarantee you, it's gonna be packed. Maybe not it may not be sold out. It may be sold out by the Dallas Cowboys fans, because we all know how that works. But the Dallas Cowboys are a failing franchise as well as of recent years. This is a huge matchup. I know it's only the preseason, Mikey Raider. It don't matter, Mikey Raider. This will build the foundation and the culture, more so than that Vikings game. A lot of fucking Raider fans, or let's call them Mexicans or Spanish people, I'm not trying to be racial, and I love them all. A lot of them are vaqueros. I grew up in LA. Everybody thinks that every Spanish person or every person out here is a Raider fan. It's not the case. There's a lot of these damn vaqueros, these Cowboy fans out here. And they have a failing franchise as well, with basically one of the cheapest owners in the NFL. He is, Jerry Jones. All these contract situations they got going. This is a huge matchup. Even though it's the preseason, Mikey Raider. Mikey Raider, it don't matter, Mikey Raider. It's the preseason, Mikey Raider. You're stupid. It don't matter. Oh, you motherfuckers. Y'all are stupid. I mean, I even love Murph. You know, Raiders Fan Radio. Maybe we'll talk about this on Monday. But he did a show where he talked about Antonio Pierce taking the timeouts, and he's like, it's the preseason. They really don't matter. I think he said that. So am I speaking to him? I don't know who I'm speaking to, but I'm tired of that mentality. But this is a big game, y'all. This is a big game. We're at home. This is a big game. We're at home versus the Cowboys. Big names should be involved. They're forcing Davante Adams to play. This is a big game. Again, for the quarterback battle, for the situation. So this is a huge game. But it's just the preseason, Mikey Raider. It don't matter, Mikey Raider. All right, I'm done. I'm going to stop doing that. The storylines of this game are definitely going to be the quarterback controversy. Who will start the game, Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew? Gardner Minshew has the leg up. Gardner Minshew, I believe, will start the game because Aiden O'Connell started versus the Vikings. And he didn't get that many reps because the series for the Vikings and the Raiders went really long, took a lot of time off the clock. Gardner Minshew went in right away in the second quarter for the Raiders and drove it down the field and looked more poised and more polished in Luke Getsey's system. So he definitely earned the start, according to all media reports, in this game. But it's also Antonio Pierce is just going to say it's not because he earned it. It's because Aiden O'Connell was always going to start the first game and Gardner was always going to start the second game. But let's be honest, Gardner Minshew possibly earned it a little more than AOC. But I'm still rooting for both of them. That's the storyline of this game. Who will play better? Who will look more polished? even though Aiden O'Connell looked really decent, except for the last couple plays where he got shacked in the red zone or at goal line. He looked pretty decent. Gardner Minshew had some hiccups as well, and he looked decent. But he did the splashy plays. So, let's be honest. This game will be about the touchdowns. The quarterback battle, it'll be about the touchdowns and the splashy plays. Gardner Minshew has the possibility of starting Minshew Mania in this game. A lot of us want it. We're hoping for it. The Raiders propaganda machine or the press department will have a field day with it. Because apparently, according to Antonio Pierce, the starter will hopefully, but he said the starter will be named for the season. The starter for the season will be named after this game. So, if that's what's going to happen, who's going to be the starter? This game means a lot to Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Who goes out there and makes plays? Who is stiff and rigid, just trying to not get sacked or not get hit? We're going to find out if AOC has a little bit of swag. Because he needs to show it in this game. Because Gardner Minshew has that swag, and he's already showed it in a lot of different ways, and he has the edge up. Aiden O'Connell will have to have a Derek Carr type of preseason game this week to be the starter. If they name the starter after this week. But if they both play good, Antonio Pierce and the Raiders might have another competition for the third week. And then Aiden O'Connell will have another opportunity to win the job. But I don't think that's the case. In my opinion, Aiden O'Connell has to have a game in the second quarter, and he might even play into the third. Gardner Minshew might even play a quarter and a half. And then Nathan Peterman in the middle of the third and the fourth. But they probably won't want to risk injury on their top two quarterbacks to play that long. But Aiden O'Connell might have to have a game like Derek Carr did versus the Seahawks to win the starting role. And if Gardner Minshew has that game like Derek Carr did versus the Seahawks, then he outright wins that job this week. The matchups to watch is going to be Brock Bowers to build upon what he did last week versus the Vikings. Couple of big catches. Right there for Aiden O'Connell to start the game. He was his go-to. That's the matchups to watch, is Aiden O'Connell to Brock Bowers, if they can continue to build upon that chemistry. Also, can Gardner Minshew play with Brock Bowers a little bit and build that chemistry? I want to see what happens there with the tight end position and our quarterbacks. The storyline is going to be Davante Adams. How much will he play? How much won't he play? Will he be mad? Will he have hospital balls thrown his way? Will he even be targeted? Or will they just let him run around the field, knowing that they don't want to get him injured and he'll be a decoy? I think he's going to be a decoy. I think Antonio Pierce is going to play him, but he's going to be a decoy for the first series of the game. He's going to be a decoy. Because Antonio Pierce is going to respect him and not want to give him hospital balls accidentally by Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew or whatever the case may be. He doesn't want to give him hospital balls. So I think he'll be a decoy. I don't think technically he'll be targeted. But if it's Luke Getsy trying to build a chemistry, he's going to target Davante Adams in the first play, at least, with Gardner Minshew. So they can actually create Minshew Mania. So I expect the first play of the game or the second play or the first pass of the game if it's in the first series with Gardner Minshew, if he's starting, it'll be some sort of not a trick play, but like a play to Davante Adams to gain a lot of yardage or to score a touchdown if they're in that area. And then they want to get him a touchdown in front of the audience, hype him up so he'll feel better about Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell or whoever is in there, that Davante Adams will score a big play, and it'll be a play perfectly designed and thrown and executed to Davante to get the crowd pumped up, to get Davante hyped. Then they pull him out of the game. Maybe it's a touchdown, maybe it's not, but it creates Minshew mania possibility. And it creates Davante Adams going, yeah, that was a cool moment. I'm glad I played in this preseason game. So I expect Davante Adams to be targeted real early for this drama or whatever we talked about. Now the matchups to watch are Jack Jones versus the Cowboys. Can he continue getting another interception, building off of his training camp? Jack Jones, after being called out by Antonio Pierce a week or two ago to make big plays, or he won't start. There's no guarantee he's the starter, but he's trying to play like it. Fantastic matchup. And I'll look at your guys' comments. Just give me a second. Pretty awesome, guys. I'm looking forward to the defense against the Cowboys. Are the Cowboys going to play Dak Prescott? Maybe for one series. They got no CeeDee Lamb. They're not playing their tight ends. I believe their tight ends are injured or not playing. So we got like an offense versus our pretty decent defense that we could take advantage of. And Jack Jones and the young players. And our depth is going to look better this week versus the Cowboys. It's going to look better this week versus the Cowboys because we had to face J.J. McCarthy, a decent rookie, last week. We're going to look better this week versus the Cowboys. It's going to be a fun game on defense for the Raiders. What are there other matchups we can look at? Trey Tucker, can he build upon last week? Keyshawn, I forget, is it Keon Coleman? I forgot the name. But the other wide receiver that had a good matchup for the Raiders versus the Vikings, build upon their chemistry. But the real storyline and or matchup to watch, in my opinion, learning what I learned last week about Luke Getsy and the killer instinct and Antonio Pierce taking the timeouts, or lacking the killer instinct, I should say, is the run game. Again, this is not going to be a big passing game. Even though last week was a decent one for Minshew and O'Connell. They're going to rely on the run game this week early on. They want the pass to complement the run in Luke Getsy's offense with the 12 personnel. They want the pass to complement the run. Zeus White and Madison are in a dogfight for that spot, even though we all know it's Zeus. But Dylan Lobb and Amir Abdullah, we need to see something out of them in this game, and they're going to get every opportunity. But I'm looking for Zeus White to continue 4 yards a carry average as he did last week and last year. And if we got Zeus averaging 4 yards a carry at the end of this game, pick that dude up in fantasy football in your late rounds as a possible stud running back in the late rounds in fantasy football. Pick up Zeus White. I mean, still pick up Zeus White. But if he averages, again, another 4 yards a carry after 5 or 6 carries this week, that dude has been averaging more than that his entire career so far with the Raiders. Even in preseasons and the regular season. Pick that dude up. Because you run it with him 3 times, you got a first down with a 4-yard average. Pick that dude up. Poor man's Josh Jacobs, but he'll be a good player to get on fantasy rosters early and often. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about in terms of the Dallas Cowboys versus the Raiders game. Let me see if I can get my screen up here. And if you want to support, you can let the ads play out and click on them. Oh, yeah, that's true for support. Ghost, I live in Mexico. Everyone here is a Cowboys fan, Raiders fan, or bandwagon. But it's Cowboys or Raiders. That's true. We're Mexico. I love Mexico. I love going to the strip joints in Mexico, man. Adelitas. Man, that's my place right there, Adelitas. Go to some Adelitas. Get a little bit of Adelitas. For a few Adelitas. Then hopefully you go home without Adelitas. Some people know what I'm talking about. The 49-second timeout, I was like, what? Yeah, when talking about Antonio Pierce tragedy. Frost, Raiders beating Cowboys at Dallas. Thanksgiving a few years back made my turkey day. I love it when the Raiders play on Thanksgiving. I freaking love it. Ghost, the little storyline for this game is Max Crosby versus Micah Parsons. Who will have a better series? That's true. Micah Parsons is a good player. I'm going to say it's Max Crosby, man. Coming off the practices and what he wants to do in this game at home, yeah, he's pissed off. At Ghost, do you know what happened to the Pioneros in the Mexican League? Yeah, I don't know what's about that, but that's cool. Interesting stuff. I don't follow the Mexican League. I know it exists, but I don't keep up with it. What happened? Pretty sure he asked because he don't know. Haha. Regarding his question. Dionysius, gotcha. I don't know what happened. I used to follow them last season. They didn't play. I followed the Gallo Negros and Dinos last year. I got to look into some stuff. J.O., what's up? AP going to get 5 wins, fired at the end of the season. Then idiot Mark will be looking for a head coach number 10 in 14 years. Wow. Would it be number 10? That's crazy to think about. That's crazy, J.O. Tragedy, he said, these negative-ass people. I'm negative too, man. You know? Forgive us. We're jaded Raider fans sometimes. But yeah, I don't think that'll be the result, J.O. So my apologies to your thought process. We're going to get more than 7 wins this year. And we're going to have a decent shot at the playoffs, barring any really bad injuries or bad losses. And if we do lose a lot this year, we're still going to keep Antonio Pierce. The person we might not keep is Davante Adams moving forward. Because then we can get a good draft pick, maybe a quarterback or some other players to build for the future in the new Raider way. So even if we only get 5 wins, Antonio Pierce will not be fired at the end of the season. Unless it's an amazing shit show of everything. And I don't think it will be. But that being said, hey guys, let me know who you think wins in the Cowboys-Raiders games. Per my matchups and my predictions are going to come on screen right now. Give me your final score results in the chat room so I can read them. But here's my prediction of who wins the game. And come on, guys. We should have won last week versus the Vikings. So you know I'm all about the just win, baby. And I believe the Raiders win in this week's game. I believe the Raiders win 24-17 in a pretty decent passing game for Gardner Minshew as the possible MVP, creating Minshew mania, maybe with Davante Adams early in the game. Maybe Minshew will have a couple of touchdowns early, at least one big touchdown, and it's going to be the starter probably for the season moving forward, even though I am rooting for AOC. AOC might have another year to really officially become the starter for our team or another team next year. But I still love that AOC is a homegrown talent and he's building upon his roster. But I believe the MVP will be Minshew, and we're going to start the Minshew mania for the season. And we're going to get a lot of propaganda and T-shirts for Uncle Rico, for Farva, Uncle Rico, whatever you want to call Minshew mania. First half, Julian Raider is chiming in. He said first half 21-10 to the Raiders. I can dig that. I can dig that. Based off of what happened last week, I could dig that. That's a good prediction. 21-10 Raiders. I just rewatched last year's 3-0 loss to the Vikings game. Damn, that was a good game. That was a good game. We played them very, very good. Of course, the Raiders will win, said Dionysius. Tragedy turned triumph, said 27-17. And I'll continue looking at the scores as we move it on to the Raider Rants portion of this video. Raiders get a victory versus the Cowgirls on the second preseason game, and it starts Minshew Mania. Woo! Woo! We're bringing it back to the Raider Rant segment, everybody, where you can ask your questions in the chat room, or you can call the hotline, leave a message, and maybe if I get a phone call live during the show, I'll try to air it and talk live as best as possible with my technology. But let's get into some Raider Rants, and let's talk to you guys, the fans, and get your opinion on any subject we talk about on today's show. Any questions you want to ask about the Cowboys game, about the Raider players, about me, about the coaching staff, let me know, and this is your opportunity. There's the hotline. Call it after the games, in the season, the preseason, wherever. Call after the game. Leave your rants. Leave your hot takes. If you're pissed off, yell and rant and rave. If you're happy, yell and rant and rave that you're happy. Call the hotline. Put it in your phone right now. Put it in your phone and write Raider Ranch Hotline. So that way, after the game and you're watching it live, you can leave your thoughts and opinions on the Raiders per any subject that entire week. And then I will air your voicemail or your text message. You could do it in a text message, and I will air it on future shows. I'm trying to get this Raider Rant started, so you guys gotta work with me, okay? You gotta work with me and help me out. Put it in your phone. Put it in your mouth. In your motherfucking mouth. You put it in your mouth. Hey, that's what I say to my girlfriends every morning. Put it in your mouth. And I'm talking about the cereal. All right, let's see if I can get the chat room on screen in some sort of a technology, so I can get your chat room on the screen. You guys probably can't read it, but I'm doing my best. Mikey Raider's doing the best he can with the chat room. Get your questions in. Come on, start chiming in. There's a few people watching. Get your questions in. And make it yellow with a donation and get in the raffle. It makes it all look big and beautiful. Makes it look all big and beautiful. All right. Since we have no comments, it appears at this exact moment, let's go to our phone call. We have one phone call so far today. Let me make sure I'm still live on the channel, because sometimes my technology goes out and I don't even know if I'm live. Yeah, it says I'm still live. Okay, good. We're still live. We'll do it live! We'll do it live, Mikey Raider! Alright, let's get the voicemail that he leaves every frickin' week on this channel. Let's get our dude, Old School Raider, chiming in. Love you, Old School. Thank you for always being apparently the only caller. I hope that's not a continuing theme on this show moving forward. But let's listen to Old School Raider saying what's up to the nation. How do I turn it on speaker? Alright, sorry guys. Technology issues. Is it not playing?
Hey, what's up, Mikey? What's up, Mikey Raider? It's the Old School Raider here. This calling to ask you a couple questions. Well, first of all, I'm glad that we're starting to trim the fat from the Raiders team since we got Brother Anthony Brown.
Uh-oh.
And I want to know one thing. Why did we bring back Nathan Peterman, because he didn't do that much when he was with the Raiders a couple years ago. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game against the Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully, you know, we'll win that one. Hopefully, you know, because I hope they do better than they did last week against Minnesota. And on this call, to check up on you and to give my thoughts on the game. Hopefully, we will win. And you know me, man. Raiders for life, for life. I'm out. Peace.
That's my dude, Old School Raider. And if you guys want to call during the show, maybe I can answer it live and talk to you guys live. But Old School Raider, I'm glad we trimmed the fat too, but I don't know why we did it. I spoke about it on the episode earlier. You guys check out that segment. Something happened with the Anthony Brown quarterback situation. I mean, it's interesting to talk about and think about. And you don't know that Nathan Peterman's a better backup than Anthony Brown because he didn't play so good with the Raiders? Well, he's been on multiple teams, and he's always a veteran backup. And you got to remember, Nathan Peterman worked with Luke Getsy last year on the Bears. He was on the Bears last year, and he worked with Luke Getsy. Nathan Peterman was a backup for the Bears last season, so he has familiarity more than Anthony Brown does with Luke Getsy in this offense. So it's a good signing for Nathan Peterman to come back to the Raiders. But I still don't know what really happened with the Anthony Brown situation. I guess he couldn't pick it up fast enough. But thank you so much, Old School Raider, for calling. I appreciate you, dude, brother. Much love, much health, and much good times moving forward. Dionysius Shed, I'm hopeful it's sad that J.O. could be right based on history. Yeah, he could be, but I don't think he will be, not this year, in terms of Antonio Pierce losing or being fired. But this is the beginning of a new era. That's right, it is. This is the Antonio Pierce era. And you know, every celebrity in real life has a new era. Every time a new celebrity does something in their life, they have a baby, they become an actor, or whatever, they go on social media and they say, this is my golden era. This is my blonde hair era. This is my acting era. This is my diva era. This is my mommy era. Well, this is the Raider era. The new Raider Way era. This is Mikey Raider's legacy era on Raider Football Talk. Ghost chiming in. What's up, Ghost? Out of Mexico. Love you, dude. Thank you for being a part of the chat room. Who do you think will be the starter week 1, Mikey? Could you see Brock Bowers winning Rookie of the Year? Yes, I think we've talked about it enough, and I thought you heard me say it. I believe Gardner Minshew is going to be the starter week 1. I really do. But if it's Aiden O'Connell, I'll be fine with it. But I think Gardner Minshew has the leg up. No pun intended with the word legs. But Gardner Minshew does some plays that make me scratch my head. Sometimes he does some plays, just throw the ball away, get out of bounds. He does some plays that make me scratch my freaking head. But I think Gardner Minshew is going to be the starter. Could I see Brock Bowers winning Rookie of the Year? No, because a quarterback will probably win it. But if it's a non-quarterback, if they had a category for non-rookie quarterback of the year, Brock Bowers will be Rookie of the Year. And that's saying a lot. But typically they pick players to be Rookie of the Year off of winning teams. You know. So, who even knows if Brock Bowers could win it? Because if we don't win a lot of games and go deep in the playoffs, they might not even want to pick Brock Bowers. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I think I'm getting phone calls. I didn't even realize it. It didn't pop up. I thought the live phone call would pop up and I could answer the phone live, but apparently it didn't. Apparently I'm getting voicemails. But yes, if there's a non-rookie quarterback, that will win it or should win it, it would be Brock Bowers. But he's going to have to beat out some running backs too. But yes, I have that much faith in Brock Bowers, my namesake, to be the Rookie of the Year. All right. Damn, I wish I would have saw it make the phone call. I wish it would have lit up and I could have talked live. But let's get to some voicemails that are now being left. Let's go to the first one from Miguel Raider out of Reno. That's right. I put you become, if you leave a voicemail and you leave your name and where you're from, I will put you on my phone list for the Raider Rants phone list. And I'll know who calls, when they call, and I could say your name moving forward. So we got a phone call and a voicemail from Miguel Raider coming in.
Hey, Mikey, what's up? What's going on, man? This is Miguel Alacran from Sparks, Nevada. I had a question for you. I know you love Gruden.
Not really, but...
How did it make you feel, seeing him wearing the Chiefs colors? I thought that was weird, Also, you think we'll win tomorrow? And Brock Bowers is looking like a stud. Hopefully it continues into the regular season, My record is 10-7. What do you think?
All right, I think that's the end of the phone call. Miguel Raider out of Reno, thank you so much for calling. But I have to ask the question, do you guys watch the show? Or did you tune in late? Because I talked about Gruden last week and that situation of wearing the Chiefs colors. Plus, I also made a clip about it, calling him a bitch. And I aired the clip on my channel. So hopefully you could watch those videos. But yes, it pissed me off to see Gruden do that. I was hoping he was being a spy for the Raiders, and he comes back and gives us some secrets from the Chiefs practice. So I'm technically hoping he's a spy. I do have a lot of problems with Gruden, but he does a lot of this stuff for the money. He probably gets paid appearance fees to do all this stuff, or, whatever. And then why is he not come to the Raiders? I asked that question last week's show, as well as this show. I don't like it. I don't like seeing a legacy Raider coach in Chiefs colors. It really bothered me. I know why he did it. I know how he did it. And I know who he did it for. And I have no problems with it. But I wish he could have just wore neutral colors. You know what I mean? But hey, Gruden is not only a grinder, Gruden is a grifter. Gruden is a grifter. And he's going to go where the money is, and whatever grift he can make some money and do all that, he's going to do it. But he loves football. He loves working with Andy Reid and other players like Derek Carr and all that with the Saints. So I'm not going to hold it against him too much, but it did bother me. It did really bother me. Yeah, Brock Bowers looks good. And we just talked about him being Rookie of the Year. Yeah. And I believe the Raiders are 10-7 and maybe make a wild card. That's my prediction. Miguel Raider, I freaking love you, brother. Thank you for chiming in. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right, we got another phone call. How do I open up that phone call? Who was it from? Oh, it's from Old School Raider again. All right, let's get it online.
Oh, yeah, Mikey Raider. I forgot to tell you. This Old School Raider here again. I've been representing with the Raiders ever since. It was called the L.A. Raiders. My first NFL football video game, I represented with the Raiders with Tecmo Ball on Nintendo when Jay Schrader was quarterback. And Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson was the halfback and the fullback. and Tim Brown was the star wide receiver, and Willie Goat was the second string wide receiver.
Tecmo Bowl, baby, Tecmo
And
Bowl.
Ty Christian was the tight end. Take it easy. Goodbye.
Thank you so much. I know you watched the show, dude, because we heard me. We heard me in the background. Next time you call, just try to turn it down. Appreciate the phone call, Old School Raider. And you were talking about the first video game you played. Which one was it? Did you say the name of it? Were you talking about Tecmo Bowl? Tecmo Bowl. I remember that game, man. That was an awesome game. But I know it had Bo Jackson. Did it have Tim Brown? It might have, because Tecmo Bowl was probably like 1989, 1990. That was around the time of like Bo Jackson and Tim Brown and Willie Gault. So I think the first video game you ever played was possibly Tecmo Bowl. You know, not Madden or whatever. I think it was Tecmo Bowl or Super Tecmo Bowl. Those are pretty awesome games, man. One of my favorite games, to say the least. Bo Jackson's unbeatable on Tecmo Bowl for the Nintendo. Bo Jackson, or is it Super Tecmo Bowl? Whichever one, he's unbeatable. I mean, they even made a Family Guy episode where the father on Family Guy, I forgot his name, Peter, where Peter on Family Guy is playing with his friends. He's playing video games in the living room. And then they were all mad because he always gets Bo Jackson. And in the episode of Family Guy, Peter plays with Bo Jackson. And then he goes, hey, and he's like, Bo Jackson. Oh, and then they just play the Tecmo Bowl theme, and he runs around the field with Bo Jackson, where all the Seattle Seahawks players or whoever are chasing him for like 50 minutes around the field. And he almost scores a touchdown, then he goes back to the end zone on the other side, runs around again, and the players are following him. He almost scores a touchdown, he does a circle, and then Peter's playing his friends, Quagmire or whoever, and then like, you always get Bo Jackson. You can't even tackle him. And then they keep making fun of the tackler for the Seahawks, whatever his name is. They're like, well, Lolo Valo can't make a tackle. You can't catch Bo Jackson. It's so freaking funny. Look it up on YouTube. I can't show it. It gets copywritten. But look up Family Guy, Bo Jackson, Tecmo Bowl on YouTube and watch that clip. One of the funniest clips I've ever seen in my life. Freaking love it. Oh, man. I wish we had Bo Jackson. I wish we had Bo Jackson. Oh, my gosh. Tragedy turned... sorry, am I missing some things? DNI says, I never cared for Chucky, so he can do what he wants. That being said, Marcus Allen to the Chiefs is the one that hurt. Yeah, that one hurt. Tim Brown hurt when he went to the Bucs with Gruden and scored his 100th touchdown. I believe it was on Monday Night Football versus the Raiders. Then also Brett Favre one night on Monday Night Football scored a touchdown versus the Raiders for his father. Scored like 4 touchdowns or something, like in one quarter or something. Like, I don't even know what it was, man. There's been a lot of hurtful Raider moments. Tragedy said, Guy taking it back. Yeah, that's right. Old School Raider taking it back to Tecmo Bowl. Juan Paredes, how you doing, brother? Hello. If Brock Bowers gets Rookie of the Year, we are definitely making the playoffs. That's true. That's a good way to say it, as opposed to the way I said it. If Brock Bowers gets Rookie of the Year, we made it to the playoffs. But they don't announce Rookie of the Year after the playoffs or at the end of the season. I'm not quite sure. Good take. Good take. Julian, Kevin Mack on Tecmo Bowl was overpowered. That's what's his name, Kevin Mack. On Tecmo Bowl was overpowered. Defenders bounced off of him. Oh, on the defensive side of the ball, Kevin Mack was that defensive guy on Tecmo Bowl. So we had Bo Jackson on offense on Tecmo Bowl. And Kevin Mack, was that the Browns, Cleveland? Kevin Mack on defense was that dude on Tecmo Bowl that had the cheat code. Like 199 score or whatever it was as compared to Madden. Ha ha ha! Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Woo! We're about 5 minutes away from a 3-hour show. So guess what time it is? Time to close it out with the Mikey Raider speech that I'm going to do every week on this show before the game. It's time for the intense Mikey Raider speech to the players, the coaching staff, the nation, in the locker room before each week's game. Have a good night, Dionysus. It's time for the Mikey Raider speech, the no-holds-barred speech for that game to get us all pumped up for the game. So let's do it. Last week I threw the water bottle in at the start of my coaching career. In my speech before the game, I threw the water bottle. Freaked everybody out. We ended up losing the game. I'm pretending I'm AP. I made some mistakes. Some timeouts. But this is how I start this new game. At home versus the Cowgirls. I'm kind of like Antonio Pierce, but it's me, Mikey Raider, speaking for him. Raiders! Raiders! The legacy starts tonight at home versus the Cowgirls. That's right, I said it, fuck them. We had a crazy intense practice this week with our home fans screaming, Raiders! In the start to our legacy. I don't care if it's just preseason, Antonio Pierce. I don't care if it's just preseason, Mikey Raider. This is the first game at home for my legacy and your legacy. Preseason or not, do you want to make the fucking team? Do you want to create your legacy? Do you want to become a Raider for life? The autumn wind is a pirate. Blustering in from sea. Even if you're Max Crosby, even if you're Davante Adams, you still haven't officially made the team. We know you have. But I'm holding everybody up to a new standard this year. And if you want to be a Raider, you have to act like it. You have to play like it. You have to be like it. You have to live like it. Everything you do must be Raider way oriented. So if you want to make the team and become a Raider, you bring out all that passion and energy tonight on the field, and I want you to end the game tired as fuck. I want you to end the game knowing you gave everything on the line, backups or not, third string or not, fourth quarter or not. I want you to know that you gave up everything in front of our home team to get a victory for the new Raider way this season. Now go smoke your shit, start talking your shit, and look within your heart and your soul and your brain and find that new Raider way. Let's go out there and fuck up these Cowgirls. Raider Nation for life on 3. 1, 2, 3. Raider Nation for life. Let's go. That's what Mikey Raider does. We gonna get a victory. And I said it, and I'm done, and I'm out. Woo! Raider Nation, thank you guys for chiming in on today's show. Abel Gomez just responded to that speech, said, let's go, F the Cowgirls. Please watch the video back. I will have clips in the coming days. And I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me on each and every Raider football talk. Being a part of the nation, call the Rants hotline. Leave your rants after the game. I'm going to try to watch the game live, but I have to do it through my phone. So I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try my best to watch some of the game, if not all of the game, live on my phone. I don't know how it'll look, how it'll play. I don't know what's going on. But if you guys want to chime in, hopefully I'm live. If you guys want to buy me some alcohol or pay me to get drunk, that would be cool too. I'd appreciate it. I want to have a good day tomorrow. and maybe make some money as well, but hang out with you guys. But the problem is, if I go live, I have to do it on my phone. I don't see the chat room correctly. I don't know if I can present the chat room on the screen on the phone. So I don't know, man. I'm going to learn the technology through my phone tomorrow. So I might go live. I might not. I might have issues. I don't know. But regardless, I promise you, no matter what happens, whether I go live or not, after the game, I'm going to come online and do a post-game review with my honest, truthful opinions on what happened. And hopefully I rap. If I rap, that means we won. So stick around for that. You guys have a beautiful, blessed night. I appreciate you guys for chiming in. For everybody that chimed in today, Dionysius, Tragedy, Abel, Ghost, True Raider, Dominique 5, Sam A, Andres Finesca, Julian Raider, Ryan, Sam A for donating, and Ghost, and Daniel Prendez, and Evan Jeffrey, Panic, Afakashi Raider got online. Oh, I forgot to say what's up to Afakashi. Raider Rants got online. Greg Lira. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being friends and fans. And I'll see you sometime tomorrow, if not for the next Raider Football Talk video. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed, stay Raider. And I'm out. And let's end it with the song. Why not? Let's do it. Let's just get out of here. I love you guys. Good night. Get some rest. And expect a big victory tomorrow versus the Cowgirls.
Rise, my nation. Gather around and prepare. For tonight, our pride will be restored. Our shadow will fall with wicked damnation. Rise, my nation. Rise! Can you dig it?
No score can settle our history with these enemies from the south.
Chucky. They may have taken our so-called fearless leader, but the deceptions do not stop there, my flock. Oh no. Chucky. They have taken from us that which is rightfully ours, that which defines us all.
Let's go wide shift. The weak left tie spider 2. The sea banana XO.
The autumn wind is a pirate.
Listen up now. Touchdown Raiders.
Blustering in from sea, with a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously.
And now we got